What is up, crew? It's your boy Kaycem, and on today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to easily draw your characters in sitting poses. We're going to be going over things like the perspective basics, sitting on a chair, sitting on the ground, all of those different things. And if it's your first time here, my name is Kaycem. I'm a Filipino art streamer here on Twitch, and I teach everything from anatomy, gesture, perspective, to all things related to character design. And I also work full-time in the animation industry for the studio that made Castlevania. So if you are following right, or if you're not following right now from Twitch, make sure you click that heart icon, and if you're watching from YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe. Everybody in the chat right now, put an F in the chat if you've ever tried to draw your character sitting and you were just like, yo, what the heck is going on? The legs look off, it doesn't look like they're sitting there, like something just looks kind of funky. You know what I'm saying? Put an F in the chat if you've ever struggled with doing those sitting poses, ever find them to be, you know, a little bit challenging. Now, what we're going to be doing here is I'm going to be kind of doing we're going to start off with this pose here. This is Hassan. I chose this pose actually because I was scrolling on Instagram the other day and I saw that he posted a picture of himself, I think in the Streamies Award or whatever it's called. And I was like, you know, it's a fairly good reference. Why not? So we're going to be using Hassan here as a bit of a reference for doing our sitting poses. But we can, again, doesn't have to be Hassan if you want to be able to draw sitting poses. A lot of F's in the chat, by the way. Sheesh. F is for perspective. F for the perspective. Yeah, so there's a lot of different things. Either the proportions are off, the perspective is off, the character doesn't look right, or whatever have you. They don't look like they're sitting on the chair properly. So we'll go over all of those things. But now going back here to talking a bit about why sitting poses are actually so important. And the reason why is because sitting poses are actually a really great way to be able to tell the character's personality. There might be characters who are very maybe stoic and they sit the way that this person is sitting, or they might be a little bit more timid and so they might hunch over the way they sit, or they could be a very relaxed character and so they kind of lean back on their chair with their, you know, arms and legs spread open and all of that stuff. And then the other thing too that's I think very valuable about sitting poses and learning how to do sitting poses is that in oftentimes any show, any movie or whatever, there's a good chance that the characters in this you know, in the show or whatever, they're going to be sitting, right? It's just like a pretty high chance there that they will be sitting at some point in this production. And even in illustrations, like sitting is a pretty common thing that people do. So learning how to do sitting poses is super great. But even if all of those things are kind of like, you know, for those of you who want to work professionally, you definitely have to learn sitting poses. But also some studios even actually, what they do as part of their interview process is they will actually ask you to draw a character sitting on a chair. And the reason why is because that, sitting poses really test your knowledge and understanding not only of the character and learning how to draw characters, but it also teaches you, or it also showcases whether or not you understand perspective and proportion and expression, right? So it's a really great way to test a lot of artists who want to come in and work for a studio. So for example, Disney, I don't know if they still do it now, but they used to do a lot of these sitting pose tests as part of their testing process, where they'll tell you to draw a given character sitting down on a chair or something. Yeah, so a lot of good reasons why to learn sitting poses, but I think my personal best reason is mostly because I think it's valuable to be able to, I think it's just valuable overall to learn how to do sitting poses. Now, what I'm going to do with you guys is I'm actually going to show you guys really quick how to rotate a box in perspective, because I think to be able to draw a good sitting pose, we must first also be able to learn how to draw the thing that the people are actually sitting on, right? So here is a simple box we're going to be laying out here in 1-point perspective. Now I'm pretty lazy, so I'm not going to try to rotate the box and try to put the vanishing points all the way at the ends of the horizon line. Instead, I'm going to be showing you guys how to just kind of simply rotate the box and it'll actually produce the same effect. It's a pretty cool technique. Some of you have already seen this one before. It's the rotating box secret strategy technique, OP, one shot KO. I don't know. Okay, it's a good simple strategy here for rotating boxes, and it all starts off here by just laying out kind of a laying out here this ellipse on this top portion here of the cube, and then we're going to go here and we're going to pick out certain sections that we want to rotate to. So in this case right here, it looks like the thing he's sitting on is kind of like right here with the front facing portion right there. And then maybe what we'll do is I'm going to arbitrarily choose here. First of all, let's go find that center line. So the way this is going to work is you want to find the ellipse. You want to find the center line here of the thing that you want to rotate. This is going to be that center line. The kind of center axis there. And we're going to be using that to rotate some of these things. What resources would you recommend to get better at perspective? I would say, I mean, if you're asking about my resources, I would definitely say check out the last 4 days of my bootcamp. So day 25 covers dynamic poses, so how to draw characters in dynamic poses. Day 24 covers drawing characters from imagination in perspective. Day 23 talks about dynamic perspective, so high angle, low angle perspective. And then day 22 covers general tips for drawing characters in perspective. So I actually go pretty in depth with perspective because I think perspective is one of the core fundamentals of drawing characters and just drawing in general. Anatomy is maybe another one that I think is important, but we've already covered like 15 days worth of anatomy. So I'm going to be covering proportions or perspective for about maybe 6 days. So we're already on the 4th day or 5th day actually. But yeah, but there you go. And yeah, I was hanging out at Orange's stream, Orangey. The perspective of the knee is very difficult for me too. Any advice? Yeah, so we're going to be going over that one actually on, we'll be doing that in all of these. But I think for those of you who do struggle with these type of poses and stuff, I do highly recommend that you guys give this a try yourself, right? Give it a try yourself, and hopefully it'll make a little bit more sense as we kind of go along and do this. Now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to arbitrarily right here just pick out some planes because I'm too lazy to actually map these out. But again, all I'm doing is I'm shifting the square here and I'm shifting it across these kind of points, and we can actually use this. Watch this. So now that we know where this point goes, so it's going to go all the way right here, right? This point right there, that's actually one of the new vanishing points that we created, and we can actually use that. Look at that, OP. So I'm actually going to go ahead and say, maybe we want it like right here, just to kind of, whatever. It's not a super exact rotation, but actually here, you know what, look like this. There you go. And if that's the case here, then what we're going to do is I'm actually going to bring this one further out here. Okay, cool. So here we've actually established here the box rotating in perspective. Super easy. Now what we can do is we can take this cube. I'm going to lower the opacity a little bit here. And this is basically it. We've established the thing. Now we can rotate it down as well. We can do kind of the same technique as we rotate it downwards, but I'm going to be a little bit, you know, I'm going to kind of speed run this one a little bit in terms of the box because we're not here to draw. We're not here to draw chairs in perspective. Well, we kind of are. We're mostly here to be drawing out people in perspective. So I'm going to be kind of just freehanding some of this right here, but I wanted to show you guys again just kind of a rough idea, a rough technique that you can utilize if you wanted to rotate a box in perspective. So this is kind of the easiest way to think about it, and it actually makes the most sense too in establishing why 2-point perspective and vanishing points actually exist. So no secret mathematical calculations for this one. Shadow Wolf, hey, or not Shadow Wolf, sorry, Shadow Yomi, welcome back in. There's so many people with shadows in their names. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, mathematical precise is not as difficult, and honestly sometimes it's better just to go with your intuition. But here we go. We've got here a nice simple box. This will be the box that our boy Hassan is going to be sitting on. I wonder if Hassan's going to be live. That'll be super cool if we can catch him live and we'll be like, hey, look, we drew you. But we'll see. Maybe we'll raid him today if he is live. But we have here this box, and again, I don't know what happened to the horizon line that we drew. Oh, it's on this one. But again, this is just a general idea here that you can utilize. If you want to change the perspective or you want to move the box up a little bit because maybe you feel like it's a little too big, which I think this one's a little bit big, so I'm just gonna shrink it out and I'm gonna freehand some of it back here. So move it down here. Okay, just give it a little bit more of that. There you go. Just kind of shifting that box a little bit more. Now let's go in here and let's talk a little bit about actually laying out our ground plane as well. So the reason why I'm doing all these things, which I feel like, you might be like, oh, this is a little meticulous. The reason why this is important to do is because if you establish these two things, you'll be able to establish how your characters are actually interacting with the world that they're in, right? Because oftentimes I find that when people try to draw characters, especially beginners who try to draw characters in perspective, the biggest problem I see is that you're drawing this super nice character, the super detailed character, and you draw this super detailed background, but for some reason those two things don't work well together, right? You try to put your character in perspective and it looks like they're floating, or it doesn't look like they're matching up well, right? So I think by establishing these kind of components and understanding what the heck is going on, I actually think it makes it a whole lot easier overall to be able to do some of these things. They use perspective in 3D, right? Environment models in 3D. Sometimes yes, though as a for example character artist, most of the time, if not all the time, we draw everything freehand, so we don't use any models. But there are some people on the team who use the models just to kind of give a placeholder and stuff for where the characters will be, but we usually freehand all of our stuff. But all right, cool. So we've laid out all the basic stuff here that we need. Let's start going in here now and actually laying in some kind of structures on top. Now, personally, now that I'm looking at this, I do feel like the horizon line is actually a little bit lower than what we've established. So I'm gonna go ahead and change that as well too. So I'm just gonna go in here and see if this works. I actually don't know. I think this should work. But I'm gonna go ahead and move kind of the horizon line a little bit more here. Yeah, that seems fine. And then we'll maybe bring the ground plane up here more. Honestly, you know what I'll do? We're gonna use it as a reference, and we're gonna just have Hassan, this reference model here. I'm just gonna shrink him down so we can kind of use it more as a reference and not necessarily as an exact kind of copy. Okay. All right. So let's go in and let's start drawing out the character now. So again, first tip of advice whenever drawing a character sitting is know what they're sitting on. Now, if you're having a hard time even doing this, what I would actually recommend is kind of do what I covered here on this example, these examples here, where basically what I did was I found a random chair. So I went on like IKEA or something. I forgot where I went. I just literally took a picture. I just screenshotted that picture of that chair, and then I tried to draw the characters on top of that chair, right? So you could do that too. Like if you don't want to figure out all the perspective and stuff, yeah, you can do that. But honestly, I think it's a good exercise, right? Because you're gonna be drawing the characters in perspective anyways, which I think is harder than drawing the box. So I think personally speaking, it's probably good to just learn how to do this in the first place. Now, one of the first things I'm going to do here is I'm going to always lay in the contact points of where the character is going to be interacting with the environment. So in this case right here, we have the pelvis kind of situated right there on top of this box. So we're going to put that there. We're going to have here the feet as well. So the feet are probably going to be, maybe I need to raise it up a little bit, but it looks to me like maybe his feet are going to be a little bit higher, a little bit past that box that we drew as well. So maybe more right about here, right? And again, these are subject to change, so don't feel like these have to be the only spots that you place the feet, or the only spots that you can place these things, and you can't change them later. You can alter a lot of these things as you kind of move forward and stuff. Are there any good practices to draw lines more straight from left to right? Yeah, so I would check out Drawbox, a great series that's free. So it's a website called Drawbox. But also, wait a minute. Wait, were you still streaming NBQ while watching my stream? Dude, that's like, that's super meta. What the heck? Thank you so much for that. Let me give you a proper shout out. If you guys don't know who NBQ is, they're a super awesome artist. I love their line work. It's just really nice to see. Very incredible stuff. You guys want to see just really good, high quality art. Highly recommend leaving a follow for NBQ. They also come out of my streams pretty often, so you'll see them here as well. I was so confused because I saw you were literally in my chat earlier. You're right here. and you're actually streaming. Wild. Thank you so much. But yes, everybody click a follow there on that one. And for those of you who are coming in here from NBQ stream, welcome into the Kaycem crew. My name is Kaycem. I'm a Filipino art streamer here on Twitch, and I teach everything from anatomy, gesture, perspective to all things related to character design. And I also work full-time in the animation industry for the studio that made Castlevania. Right now, I'm actually prepping to work on shows like Castlevania, Legend of Korra, and Invincible. So if you guys are interested in some free art education, you like anime or animation, or you like dogs that sleep over there in the corner, make sure to leave a follow, join in and all that stuff. And also if you're watching from YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe. Last time you weren't in Powerhouse. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. For some of you who were here before, maybe, you were at the time of my anime arc when I was in my training arc, but I do currently work for Powerhouse right now. I've been actually working for them for a good while now, actually, a fair number of months. And so it's been pretty good. Now for today, by the way, we're covering how to do sitting poses for those of you coming in from the raid. The reason why we're covering sitting poses is because sitting poses are actually a very, very great way to be able to convey your characters, be able to convey their expression. And also for those of you who are interested in wanting to work in the industry, drawing characters in a sitting pose is actually one of the common ways that studios will test an artist to see if they have a good understanding of perspective, anatomy, proportions, and overall character expression and design. So if you guys are thinking like, Kaycem, how do some studios test you if you want to work for them? This is actually one of those tests where they will tell you, hey, can you draw, I don't know, let me think of a show. Can you draw Monkey D. Luffy sitting on a barrel? And he's laughing, right? And it's like, okay, can you do that, right? And if you can do that, then they're like, okay, cool, we'll hire you to work for the studio, and then that way you can draw the characters and stuff. So there's many good reasons why to learn how to do sitting poses, but overall, I think that it's up to you as well. But I do think it's a valuable one, and so I highly recommend it. Now, let me go ahead here, and I'm going to kind of stretch this one out just a little bit more, or maybe I'm going to push it in a little bit more here and all that stuff. But yeah, hopefully you have a good stream, NBQ and everyone's NBQ's viewers as well. Hopefully you guys are enjoying today's streams. I'm a little bit, look, I'm going to say this now, I'm a little bit more chatty than NBQ's stream, so I do apologize if that's not something you're used to, or you're like, whoa. What happened? It was a very chatty streamer. We do a lot of chatting out here, but I hope that's okay. Boxes are OP, dude. Boxes are actually OP, so OP. I love boxes. But also, you know, don't feel like you have to be stuck with boxes too. There's so much you can do with flexibility and stuff. Kay likes to go on and on. That's true. I just don't stop talking. We keep talking out here. Do I animate or do I do concepts? I mostly work in animation. So I do what's it called? I do character and layout stuff for Powerhouse. So it varies depending on the project, but most of what I've done is a lot of sequence animations and stuff. So whether that be like key shots that need to be animated, or cool kind of dynamic scenes where you got a character who's zooming in on the face and you really want to capture their expression, or maybe there's a character who's pulling out a weapon and they need to run across the corner or something like that. I'm just giving you guys random stuff that I've worked on. But yeah, so I mostly work currently right now in the animation side of things, which is good. Let's see here. Is there a tutorial about drawing legs in perspective? Oh yeah, there's exactly exactly that, actually. Day 19 of my boot camp. I'm telling you guys, I've covered almost everything out here for you guys. Day 19 is exactly that right there, drawing legs in perspective. I wanted to draw legs by themselves in perspective because I felt like it's really important to understand how legs interact with the ground plane and stuff before we jump into drawing the whole body. So that's why I dedicated a whole day just for that one. Wow, thanks for all the people coming in here, by the way. Thank you for the follow. Kisetsuno Fruits, Marilyn Dow, thank you for the follows. Thank you again for the raid. And yeah, everyone coming in here. Welcome in. I see all the new people coming in. Ugly Weeb and stuff. Yes Soul, hopefully I'm saying your name right. Yeah, welcome in, guys. Let's see here. Oh shoot, I do run ads on my stream every hour, by the way, so if you do get an ad, thank you again for sticking around for the ad break. Yeah. If you don't want to see any ads, consider subscribing or using a Prime sub. So here I'm just going in, I'm just adding in all the forms. And again, you know, we can keep this as complicated or as simple as we want. I'm going to be going in and kind of just keeping it nice and simple for today's stream. So I'm not going to try to go too in depth here with all the anatomy. So we'll probably just go in and jump right on adding in the clothing to this character or this reference. And earlier we had a question about where I find my references from. Honestly, all of my references are either sourced from Pinterest, Google, DeviantArt, or Instagram. So this reference here that I found was actually just off of IG. So I just literally ripped Hassan's IG post, and that was it. Oh, Ashlane, hey, welcome back in. Thank you for the Prime sub. Where should you follow the camp? I would say if you are not up to date with all the stuff, like if you're not up in the current stuff, I would say YouTube is going to be the best place because I upload all the videos edited over there on YouTube. So days 1 through 8, and I think the 9th day is actually coming out tomorrow. But if you're already caught up, then I would say join me on Twitch because Twitch is where we're actually doing these live. So right now, on Twitch, we're on day 26, but on YouTube, I think I'm still on day 9 of the YouTube channel, or day 9 of the bootcamp on the YouTube channel. So I would say if you're starting out, go to YouTube, and if you manage to catch up, which is insane, then yeah, you'll be able to go and start following along from the Twitch streams as well too. But remember that all of the stuff from the Twitch streams will eventually end up on YouTube. It just takes a little bit of time for my editors and stuff to, you know, clean it up a little bit and make it look super nice with the thumbnail and all that stuff. So shout out to my editors. They've been doing an amazing job, by the way. I'm sure you guys could tell from the from the videos that have been coming out. Actually, you know what? Everybody in the chat, CLAP's in the chat one time for my editors. They have been doing incredible work, and really appreciate them putting the time in to make those, like especially the thumbnails. Dude, I feel like the thumbnails that they make are so good. I feel like they're pretty solid when it comes to art YouTube video thumbnails. Chef's kiss on the thumbnails. Let's see here. Thank you so much for the sub as well, Nemesis. Really appreciate those guys. You guys are back from the ad break. Thank you for quenching my thirst. Also, guys, if you had any questions from earlier, feel free to retype them. I oftentimes miss questions just because the chat goes crazy and stuff. I know there was a question earlier from who was it? I think it was from Dizzy. But if you guys have any questions, please feel free to just type them in the chat. Again, my streams are very chatty streams, which is by intention, by design. I want to have these type of conversations with you guys, and I want to, you know, be able to talk about things that maybe you guys are interested in and maybe even struggling with when it comes to art and all that stuff, right? What do you think about the Twitter announcement? What's the Twitter announcement? I don't have a Twitter account, so I have no clue. let me preface with that. I don't have a Twitter, so I have very limited knowledge here of what you could possibly be talking about. Kind of a dumb question, but are the working conditions good? I hear a lot of bad stuff about studios Western and Eastern. A dumb question about working conditions. Oh, conditions are good. Conditions are good here at Powerhouse. I work remotely, which I think is already a huge plus. They allow me to work remotely. I don't have to go into the studio if I don't want to. I do live close to the LA studio, so that's super nice. But I choose not to go because I have a pretty nice setup here. I have a pretty nice setup right here in my home, and so because of that, it's been pretty solid. My team has been pretty good, though I will say that you know, even within Powerhouse, there are certain studios and production, or there are certain productions and teams that may get more overworked than others. And a lot of that depends on budget, timing, because Powerhouse is actually a studio that usually gets hired by other studios or productions to work on projects. So for example, Netflix oftentimes will outsource their work to Powerhouse to get stuff done like Castlevania, Blood of Zeus, Seis Manos, and all of those other kind of animation productions. And so depending on the project, you might get a production that's a little bit more crazy, and then some that are a little bit more relaxed. You know, maybe the time frame is a little bit better. But it all varies so greatly. Like there could be a case where you also have a team that is super nice and chill as well, right? So thankfully my team has been super dope. They've been all super nice. So I can't complain. And, you know, I think they know really well how to challenge me as well, too. So they know how to give me tough assignments that aren't like too tough that I can't do them. They like know that I can do certain things. Sometimes they know things that I can do that I don't know I can do. And I think that's like, those are like the best moments where like they tell me like, hey, you know, how about you do this project? And or like do this scene. And I'm like, do this scene? Are you sure? Because I don't know about that. And they're like, nah, you can do it. And I'm like, okay, we'll try it out. Let's see here. The correct answer anytime anyone asks something about Twitter is I don't have an account. Yeah, I mean, it's true. I don't have an account. I legit don't have an account on Twitter. Give me a sec, guys. I need to fix something here with my Twitch chat because I can't. It's being super buggy right now. Thank you for the follow, by the way, Lenny Box. Appreciate that. The tab most people use for the feed will require Twitter Blue. People are really upset. Bro, I honestly, look, I'm sure that that's really frustrating. I just don't know. I just don't know what that means. Like, is that a really bad thing? It sounds like a huge paywall. It sounds to me like Twitter is just putting a fat paywall on things. Because they're bleeding money and yeah, they're not profitable. That's what it sounds like, but I honestly don't know. The tab most people use for the feed will require Twitter Blue, huh? Okay, give me an equivalent of how that would work on like Instagram. Can you compare that to Instagram? Because I use Instagram, so I would know how that works. Would that be the equivalent of like the stuff you see on your scroll feed on IG would be stuff that you'd have to pay for? Is that what that would be like? If so, that sucks. That's like such a goofy play. Yeah, we're drawing Hassan today. Some of you guys might know Hassan. He's a little bit of a streamer out here on Twitch. I don't know if he's a big streamer, you know, kind of a small sized streamer. Nah, I'm kidding. No way. I know the Hassan community is going to come out here and roast me, man. They're going to be like, dude, what are you talking about? I love watching Hassan streams, actually. Not even for the political stuff. I don't even care about the political stuff. I just like how I just like how he bullies his chat. Not that I would ever do that. I'm not going to bully you guys. You know me. I'm a very friendly streamer out here on Twitch. Okay. I only bully you guys like once every month, which is pretty good. I like seeing him yell at weird chatters. Yeah. I love how he'll go like this. He'll go like this and just roast a random person. You'd be like, we all knew it was coming, bro. You're Kuman. Oh, bro, what the heck? And then everyone just does Kek W. My bad, Milo. I didn't mean to roast you like that. But that's literally what a Hassan stream is. He just picks out random people and just roasts them to the ground. There's a For You tab and a following tab. To be seen on For You need to be paying. Oh, okay. I got it. I see. You can only show up in the recommended channels on Twitch if you're a celebrity. Dude, that sucks. What is that? Also, Havoc Reed, welcome back in. That's actually insane. Poor Milo. Yo, Milo, I swear I wasn't trying to bully you. Are you okay? You still here? Ah, dang. We're not gonna see Milo. Milo's like, it's okay. I didn't know this was that kind of stream. I set an example. But yeah, anyways, going back here to the poses, no, you'll kind of notice here that the main thing about sitting poses again is really having that interaction there of that pelvis. So if you were to actually, I wonder what a good way is to showcase this. But I would say like if you kind of locked in here on this box and imagine here, I'll do like this on a little bit of a side view right here. The only roast Kaycem's doing is art roast. That is true. I do like my art roast. So you can imagine here, if the box was in side view, right? Remember that the pelvis is going to be kind of tilting a little bit this way. So there's going to be a little bit of a tilt here of the pelvis. And the reason why is because of the actual ACES itself. But then also, let me kind of shrink this one down a bit more. Also here, the rib cage is also going to kind of go up this way. Now, keep in mind that obviously there are going to be different ways that people sit. And if anything, if most of you guys are artists in the chat, you probably are not even sitting like this. This would be facing front ways this way. So this would be like the legs here. I know most of you guys are definitely not sitting with this kind of posture. No way. No way. If anything, it's like the other way around, you know? But again, this is just kind of that example, right? Kind of showing you like, okay, this is that sitting pose here from like a side view, right? And so you'll kind of see how the pelvis there and the rib cage kind of go out at an angle, and this one kind of goes down at an angle, right? You're trying your best, yeah. Your croissant. If you lean on your knees, would you tilt? Would your tilt be the other way if you leaned on your knees? I think we're gonna have a pose covering that actually, so I think we'll see. Twitter paywall Must says that it's an anti-bot measure, but it's actually because Twitter advertisers are bailing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I know you were referring to the Twitter comments. I'm just trolling you. Thank you for the follow, Sour Lemon, Blue Rose Crown, and so many other people who've been coming in here. Thank you so much for the follow today, guys. Hopefully you guys are doing well today. Also, Kaiser, how's it going? Welcome back in, and everybody else who is here today. Croissant. So yeah, so sitting poses, very important, but also very challenging. But I think it's one of the very rewarding poses, because if you can do sitting poses well, I think it's actually a good testament of your understanding of the art fundamentals. Proportion, anatomy, perspective, which I would say are the bread and butter. And then gesture is one that's good on top as well, because again, as I've mentioned to you guys, there are so many different ways to pose your character sitting, and all of those different variations can lead to a great expression of how your character actually is, right? Croissant. sorry. But let's see here. Let me go ahead and draw these hands, and then we'll go in and draw the head and all that stuff. But I just wanted to show you guys kind of that basic mannequin shape first, because I think it's actually really... Oh, am I on a wrong layer? What layer is this? Huh? Why did I draw on this layer? Strange. I wanted to show you guys that again, it all kind of starts off here by understanding the primitive shapes. And if you've been here before, you know that I'm a big fan of establishing primitive shapes into your drawings like so, because I think this is a lot easier to start with than going in and adding in all the crazy anatomy, right? But again, this is nice kind of, I would say this is like a beginner step, right? So good beginner step is if you can do this for your poses, then you're in a good place, and maybe practice this, right? So for those of you who are still starting out, I would definitely say just kind of stay in this area for a little bit, get comfortable with posing your characters and mannequins. And again, you can do so much, right? Like I'll show you guys an example really quick from a previous, from something that I did a while back, which was this one right here. Like even on a sitting pose like this, there's so many variations of sitting poses you can do. And then if you want to take it further, obviously you can start drawing the characters on top. So this is Mako from Legend of Korra, right? But so you'll notice here how there's so many variations that you can add in. And then if you want to get crazy and move on from there, you can start actually putting your characters more into scenes. So not only are they sitting, now they're going to be sitting and interacting with other people, right? And they're actually doing something. Maybe it's a basketball game and they're on the bench or something, or they're playing poker over here, or it's the Avengers and they're no one is sitting, they're all standing, except I guess they're kind of like sitting in a kind of sitting crouching position, right? So you'll kind of see how you can start leveraging these things together and how you can start building up all those fundamentals. Wait, how did you see the male Jinx? You saw male Jinx? How? Was she there? How do you guys always spot this? I swear, you guys just have an eye for male Jinx. Dude, every time you guys just like lock in. I forgot I even drew that. That was like last year. Way like, no, not even, was it last year? Like 2 years ago. That's insane. I have a question that I've always wanted to figure out. I'm good at drawing reference drawings, but I'm terrible at creating it from my own head. What do you think I should do? Blue Rose Crown. That's a great question. And actually, the answer to that question is I would say do exercises like this. Again, this is day 24. This is perspective poses from imagination, where I actually show you guys how to start thinking about things from imagination, drawing different characters and poses and stuff. And so this is actually a really great exercise. You can start here by drawing a character using a reference image, like you said, right? Like maybe you're good at, so here's a reference image that we used, right? It was a girl sitting like this. And I showed you guys, I said, hey, you know what? Let's take this reference image. Let's draw it out. And then from there, from imagination, let's see if we can draw that same pose, that same reference now, but from different angles. So really, it's a great way to establish your visual library, be able to practice your understanding of the pose and the reference. And then also be able to then, you know, just kind of change the pose up too, right? So this is a really, really great exercise, especially for those of you who struggle with drawing, drawing from imagination or drawing from your head, right? So hopefully that helps you out. There's a lot of other exercises I could think of as well, but that's kind of the first one that we covered. We covered that one, I believe, Saturday. Some of you are saying we did this on Saturday. So yeah, that was like Saturday stream. Oh, and Vandy, thanks so much for the follow. But there you go. Hopefully that was helpful to you, Blue Rose, and welcome in. Thank you for joining in, and for everyone else joining in as well. Thank you so much for all the follows today. But there you go. So we've got here the kind of the structure, right? Nice simple pose. We're going to be leveraging a little bit here of perspective there on the shoulders, you know, all that stuff, lining that up. And then maybe what we'll do is I'll kind of lengthen his legs out a little bit more, because I think he's a fairly tall character with some you know, larger proportions than your average human being. But all right, there you go. So we've got here, look at that, nice box. So we slapped on here the human on the box. Easy peasy, right? Easy peasy, nothing too crazy yet. Hopefully it's not crazy yet. But let me go ahead and kind of draw out here. So again, I just wanted to kind of quickly show you guys kind of that mannequin structure, right, from side view here. And then let me color this one out, actually. Hassan is a giant. Yeah. He's pretty large. You know, I actually met Hassan. I met him at TwitchCon, and he sat next to me, and it's crazy because you guys know I'm like 6'10", and so when he stood next to me, I was like, dude, this guy must be like 7'9" or something. The guy's huge. It's crazy. I didn't think humans could get that tall, but honestly, pretty wild to see it. But yeah, pretty insane. Let's see here. Thanks for the follow too, Marshall, not Lee. Yeah, 6'10". Did I stutter? did I stutter? You heard me. I said yeah. I was like, I know. I was like, huh, that's pretty insane. Guy's really tall. Anyways, these are kind of the general landmarks that we're looking at, right? All the poses and stuff. You don't believe me? Look, you see my dog? My dog is huge. Okay, he's like giganto. So just imagine him, and then him next to me. I must be also very huge. He's like Clifford the big red dog. But anyways, we've got here these poses and all of that cool stuff. Let's go in here now and let's start actually drawing out some of the character features. because I want to be able to kind of draw some of the expression as well today. I actually kind of already started working on this one, so I'm just going to be lazy here and put the head on here, and let's start actually building up now. Start building up some of the features for this one. Okay, so let me actually, instead of doing that, let me go in here and we will color fill. And let's start working on adding in some features for this one. Akitas do be big. They do be big. Thank you for the follow. Anti Bonnie. Use Sea Dog as well. Oh, we could use Sea Dog. Why not? Maybe not today, just because we don't have what's it called? I've already picked out the references for today's stream, but in the future, I'm not opposed to using other content creators. I think it's a funny way too, because I know a lot of you guys know these content creators. You know, it's Twitch, so I think that'd be funny. So let me just move a few things around here. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Okay. Cool. All right, let's go in here and start drawing out all these features. Now, again, the reason why I think this is so important to be able to draw out the this mannequin and all that stuff is because I really do feel like establishing out here establishing kind of how your character interacts while they're sitting can actually be, again, a very, very great way to be able to convey how your character actually acts in the world that they're in. How could your dog be large when I'm looking at it right now from my phone and it's on a tiny screen? Right. Let's see here. His head is way too big in your drawing. Yeah, don't worry. I'm shrinking it. I'm shrinking his head. I'm going to shrink it, and then we're going to alter some of the proportions and stuff. Don't worry, guys. How's it going? Welcome in, Wizardess, and everybody else coming in here. Yeah, thank you for the follow, Mr. Blonde, Anti Bonnie, and everyone else coming in. Glad to have you guys on here today. But yeah, let's go in here and let's start jumping in here now on the drawing that we've got out here. So let's kind of go in and, you know, I'm just kind of laying out some general features for him. Nothing too crazy, I would say. But we're going to go ahead and kind of adjust it as we make our way into this drawing. So let's kind of go in and start piecing things out now. So now that we have kind of that general structure for our, you know, our character and stuff, what I like to always go in and do now is start fleshing out a little bit more of the anatomy. So even if a character has a good amount of clothing, I like to always at least have some sort of baseline mannequin structure that's a little bit more robust than some of the structure that we currently have. So this right here is what I normally would do if I were to be working on a, you know, character and stuff. Is I would actually be going in here and adding in all these features first, and because I already know how to do all the mannequin and cylinders and stuff, so I kind of just skip past that whenever I'm drawing, and I kind of go in here and, you know, add my own features. Now I'll also talk a little bit about clothing today because I think it's an important part of drawing characters sitting, right? I think when you have characters sitting, you're going to see a lot of clothing folds, especially on the knees. So we'll talk a little bit about clothing today, even though I do have a dedicated day specifically for clothing, right? Oh, also, Sea Salt, thank you so much for the continued sub. Really appreciate that. Sheesh. So let's actually do, you know what, let's just do clothing today. So I'm gonna do I'll talk about clothing a little bit, but again, we'll have a dedicated day for it. But for now, I'm gonna kind of go in here and just kind of piece out some of the anatomy first, and then we'll lay all the clothing kind of on top. Now, for those of you guys who are coming in here for the first time and you're kind of curious about anatomy and stuff like that, on my YouTube channel, again, there are going to be plenty of videos that you guys can all kind of check out and stuff. They go pretty in depth when it comes to the anatomy. So we have about 15 days worth of content. So roughly about 2.5 hours each times 15. So it's a pretty sizable amount. It's basically a full course on dedicated purely just to anatomy. And then now that we've moved on past that, we're actually talking about more of the general topics about drawing characters, stuff like drawing characters in perspective, how to pose your characters, so forth and so on. It's often hard for me to visualize the anatomy under the clothing. Oh, nice. So okay. So this is actually helpful for some of you guys. That's great to hear. But yeah, let me know. Please do let me know, guys, if you ever do find anything particularly helpful, or maybe, not as helpful. Because again, I'm here to teach you guys and help you guys out the best that I can. So you guys telling me what's helpful to you makes my life way easier. Not just as a content creator, but also as an educator out here on Twitch, right? Why does he look like Hassan? Because it is Hassan. This is Hassan right here. Yeah, that's definitely Hassan. Shogun Shaggy, thank you so much for the follow, and everybody else who's been following me. Appreciate you guys coming in today. He kind of does look like Hassan. We could change him. We can not make him look like Hassan. But I don't know. I think Hassan is fine to draw today. He himself is a character, and I don't think a lot of people actually draw Hassan. So we're gonna be drawing him Hassan. But here I'm showing you guys some of the simplified anatomy. It's going to be a little bit different from the anatomy drawings that you guys have seen me do. So it's less about the overall kind of muscles and forms, and more kind of utilizing some of the general shapes there. So for example, I'm arching here that rib cage and giving it that Greek arch. I'm kind of putting that center line here for the torso, which I think is personally, I think is really helpful to be able to establish that when you're drawing out your character. So make sure to kind of understand where that center line is, especially when they're sitting down, because it'll help you kind of visualize some of the perspective and stuff that you're seeing as well. Now here, the arm is going to be kind of rotated a little bit, not rotated away from us directly, but you will kind of see that bicep still here. So we're going to kind of tuck that in there. We're going to have a bit of a fold here as well. Forearms and all of that stuff are going to be doing their thing. So let's go ahead and kind of knock that out the way. Elbow goes down here. And then we'll have here, have the arm kind of just going down. And I'm going to raise that arm up a little bit actually, but I'll do that right about now. Maybe you should post it on Instagram and tag Hassan. Yeah, maybe, but I'm too lazy. I'm so lazy to post up on Instagram. I don't know about you guys, but I've just felt like, I don't know. I feel like Instagram has been kind of meh recently, or not even recently. It's for a while. It's been kind of meh. Even Twitter has been kind of meh. People have been complaining about it. So I don't know. I haven't been super motivated, honestly, to be posting, but that's okay too, because I feel like I'm not trying to grow my IG. I care more about Twitch and YouTube overall. So yeah, but maybe in the future I'll be posting more, especially if I finish pieces too, because I only kind of want to post finished work. This is real helpful. Sometimes have that floating character problem. Mood. I feel that. The avatar art teacher. I know, that's me. That's me, the avatar art teacher. Okay, let me ask you guys a question. Let me ask you guys, if I were to continue drawing streamers or just content creators in general, like who would you want to see? Like who are the ones that you're like, man, Kaycem, you gotta draw. You gotta draw so and so. I'm not actually gonna potentially draw them, just a heads up. But you know, I don't know, maybe I'll take some suggestions and then we can do some of that. That could be kind of fun. Let me go ahead. I also want to make sure we are capturing capturing him actually proportioned out here on that box, right? Yeah, that seems much better. I like that actually. Ayo Jimbo. Yeah, right. Honestly, maybe down. Draw Jason. Maybe, yeah. Disguised Toast. Ooh, Disguised Toast. Yeah, I'm kind of down. You know, I also met Disguised Toast. We took a picture together and I gave him my business card. He hasn't hit me up yet, but copium. Don't worry. I think he's just busy, you know? I think he's just super busy right now. Yeah. He's gonna hit me up eventually, right guys? Yeah. Kaide. Oh, I've been thinking about that. I think she's on my list of people to draw if I were to draw people. It's hard though because not every streamer has good reference pictures. You know, not everyone's posing like Hassan is here. So that's the other thing too. Is I do gotta find if I'm gonna be using it for like educational purposes. I do want to find some like decent references at the minimum. But yeah, no, I think that could be a fun one. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, draw this streamer. I think his name is Kaycem or something like that. Nah, never heard of him. I never got to meet Pokemon. I think she wasn't there actually. I think she didn't go to TwitchCon because she was sick or something. I remember something like that. Yeah, I remember she didn't go. She caught the vid. Oof. But let's go in here and let's kind of lock in the rest of the proportions, all of that stuff on this side of the arm. And you know, again, this is just kind of general shapes. We're going to be covering all this anyways, so just kind of a heads up. But you know, I think it's still good to go in and kind of figure out what the heck is going on here with the anatomy, right? So I like to personally kind of shape all these things out, visualize them, get a good understanding of them, even if we're going to be slapping a bunch of clothing on top of them. I think it's good to have a comfortable understanding of that. Isn't his arms longer? Again, we're going to keep it. Don't worry. I'm going to be laying all these things out and then we're going to be piecing it all out afterwards. So I'm just kind of right now using the mannequin that we have and I'm going to be building it all out this way. And then from there, we're going to go in and actually start shaping things out again after. So don't worry too much about all that. I'm not, I'm mostly taking from the mannequin that we have. And then from that mannequin, we're going to be going in and actually piecing it out. But also I will say this too. I will say that sometimes with references also, it can be a little deceptive. So, just be cautious of that. Not to say that you're not right. Probably the arms might be a little bit long or a little bit short, especially the upper arm there. But yeah, but we will fix all that in a bit. Let's kind of go in here, add the calves, and then we'll, I think we'll be mostly good here for the legs. Give them a little bit thicker legs here, more of a build. Ankles are going to go inward. So we're going to have the inward ankle like so. Boom, boom, boom. Outward ankle like so. There you go. And then we'll go in and then I think we should be good on this side as well too. So let me kind of get a little bit of a medium sized length there. There you go. Okay. For the shoes, I'm actually going to keep the shoes the same shape, just because we're going to be drawing out the shoe there anyways. And the shoe is not really going to change the shape too much. Maybe a little bit, but for the most part, it's going to keep it relatively the same. So I'm going to keep that shoe shape the same there. The legs here, we're going to kind of thicken that up as well too. So the quad muscles are going to kind of wrap down like that, taper down to the knee. The knee is going to go here with the patella kind of going this way, right? Hamstrings and all of that stuff are going to kind of go down here. And I think if you take a look at the reference, I think the box that we drew is a little bit bigger than the one that we than the one that he's sitting on, but that's okay. We can either change the box or just keep the box as is, and that'll be completely fine. But again, this is kind of a more anatomical structure, right? So now we can go in, I think we'll keep the rest of this the same. Now we can go in and kind of add all the clothing on top, but let me kind of move some things around. Now that I'm seeing the full picture, we can kind of open things out a little bit more. So maybe we'll actually widen his torso a bit. Let's go do that. We can take his arm here and kind of rotate that a little bit more this way to kind of give him more of a straight down look there. And then this will also free up some of that space there for the wrist to also, you know, go back in here like so. So we can do some of that too. So again, you know, this is kind of the nice thing about not going into the details yet, and also working with some of the clothing and the structures that we have here. Because here at this stage, it's not too, I think it's not too late to change any of the features that we have established, right? All right, but anyways, this is going to be the rough kind of general structure there for this character, right? So now we got here the rough mannequin, we've got here the build underneath. Now what we can do, let's actually kind of lock in some of the, maybe clothing that we have right here. And I think we'll be good to go with actually getting some of this one worked on. All right, so we're gonna go in here, boom, boom, boom. Let me kind of change a few, the lining of here, the quads and stuff. Let's kind of move up here as well. Cool. Lengthen this leg. Okay. Looks good to me. Nice. All right, let's go in here and let's start adding in some of the clothing, and we'll start working on this one out here. There's a line from one wrist to the other. In the photo, the wrists are not even or parallel. That's what I was saying with the long arm thing, but it like fixed as he goes. Yeah. So there's a couple of things here too to watch out for. So one, the perspective that we're utilizing in this scene is actually different than the perspective that is being utilized in the photo here. And then so because of that, the lining and stuff is also going to vary slightly. But two, I'm using him more as a reference to be able to show you guys the sitting pose, and I'm not necessarily trying to draw the reference exactly. But I will try to match it as best as I can. But I'm more focused on laying out the character in perspective, and in the perspective that we've decided to put him in. But I will say that it's going to be a little bit different. I think the perspective that we put him in is a little bit more of a lower focal length, which will actually cause some of the proportions there to kind of warp out a little bit more, which is, I think, fine. That's okay. But now anyways, let's kind of go in here and let's start actually building out some of the details for this one. Now that I think we have a pretty decent baseline for our character sitting here, so we have all of that. Let me actually go in on a different layer really quick, and I want to just establish the box that he's sitting on. So maybe like right here, we'll put we'll put a line right here, and then we'll say that this is the box that he's sitting on. It's going to be, again, a different box than what he has. I think his box is a lot smaller, but that's okay. We're, again, using it as reference. There you go. Wait, am I on the line art layer? Oh, shoot, I am. That's okay. All right. Hey, how's it going? Needmow. Thank you for the follows, guys. Shogun Shaggy, Ghost in the Rain, and everyone else coming in here. Did I get Resident Evil 4? Not yet. Not yet. I've been thinking about it, actually. Thinking about getting some Resident Evil, but it's not been on my radar because I've been a little busy, but I want to play it. If I have the chance to, I'll definitely try to grab it. Oh, thanks for the follow too, Ugly Weeb. Appreciate that. I think you were from you're from the raid, right? Am I right or wrong? I think so. All right, so let me go ahead and draw some of the facial features. Some of the things that I've kind of done here is I've laid out some of the general kind of structures and proportions for the face. But I'm not going to go over too much about how that all kind of works, because I think we have streams where I covered all of that already, but just kind of the general idea is I'm using kind of the lined up proportions right here to piece in all of the structures here of the character. So stuff like the eye level, the nose, the chin, all of that stuff is all going to kind of just follow along these guidelines that I've made. And this is a pretty simple guideline. I think this is not necessarily the Loomis method. It's kind of a variation on the Loomis method. So some people have actually brought that up where they were like, okay, Sam, I noticed that you don't use the Loomis method to draw heads. So I don't necessarily use the Loomis method, but it's again a variation of the Loomis method. So it all kind of stems from that. So I'm going in here, I'm just drawing his beard out, which I think is a pretty, I would say a pretty iconic feature of his. I think his hair changes a lot, but he usually keeps his beard the same. So I'm going to be adding that beard in first. And then we'll kind of go in there. And I'm just kind of leveraging the planes on his face to, you know, piece those things out. And hey, Too Cute Stan, thanks for the follow as well. Appreciate that. But yeah, hopefully you guys are doing well today. Happy Tuesday. It might actually be let me think. It might actually be Wednesday for some of you, now that I think about it. I think if you're watching from like, I think either Australia or the Philippines or Japan, it might actually be already Wednesday, which is insane. Thank you for the follow too, Malarkey. You wish you looked like Hassan. Mood. So I'm gonna give it kind of like a stubble here, darken out here for the neck. There you go. And then I think, you know, from here we can probably go in now and start adding in some of the details now for the for his hair and stuff. But yeah, I wanted to kind of finish up here on the what's it called? Finish up his face and stuff, so we can actually get into the rest of the pose, which is going to be covering more of these, more of the actual features that are related to the sitting pose. All right, so let's go in. Let's kind of add in some of the hair. We can talk about hair a little bit too, because I do think hair tutorials are always fun to do. But basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be building out the overall structure of the hairstyle first. And then from that overall structure, kind of going in and kind of going in here and kind of piecing out all the details afterwards. But I always like to do that after I've already established the structure and the silhouette. So I think for this one, I'm going to give it a lot of volume, kind of like that. Go a little bit on the other side as well, and then come from there, we'll kind of shape it out a little bit more, chopping out some of the details, and I think we'll be good to go. Imagine Kaycem and Ergo Josh drawing each other. Yo, Josh, where you at? Not opposed. I think he put out a video recently, actually. Is that Appa from Avatar on my shirt? Yeah, it is, actually. Shout out to Avatar The Last Airbender. Quality show. One of my favorites. Oh, thank you for the follow too. Account 5978. Thank you. Appreciate that, guys. But yeah, so I would say for this part, because I'll probably be just kind of drawing these details out, If you guys have any questions, by the way, let me know in the chat. This is probably a great time to be asking questions, just so that because right now I'm not really teaching any particular topic just yet. Once we get to clothing and stuff, that's when I'll probably get into more of the going back into teaching some things. So if you guys have any questions, whether it's questions about me, questions about the stream, questions about art, things you're struggling with, please feel free to ask it out here on my streams. It's a pretty conversational community, and yeah, I would say, yeah, this is probably the best time because I'm not right now I'm mostly just drawing out, so good time to chat about other things. Let me just add some like cheekbones in there. I like to add a few things also to my facial features. Sometimes I add too much, but it's okay. How do you draw clothing folds? We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a bit. Let me see here. Have I watched all 4 seasons of Castlevania? I believe so. Yeah. I believe I watched everything from whatever was released on Netflix. Yeah, that's what I've seen. Yeah. There's honestly, I would actually say that Netflix has actually done a pretty good job with some of their selection of anime. I think it's kind of cool to see that they're not just like, oh, let's just get all of the popular anime that come out every season. You know, they've picked out a few animes that I think are dope, that I actually originally I didn't really care for. Like, for example, Vinland Saga. No offense, by the way. No offense to Vinland Saga, but Vinland Saga, I didn't like the first season. I thought it was kind of meh. But season 2, I liked it a lot better. I think the whole farming arc was kind of cool, actually, kind of nice. They released more seasons. Yeah, I believe I watched the newer ones. I think I've seen season 4 and stuff. For sure. That seems familiar. But yeah, take a look at this. Slowly adding in details. Starting to come together. Yeah, got some details there. Vinland Saga is amazing. Yeah, I kind of liked it. All right, let me ask you guys. So I usually ask you guys the question about I usually ask you like, what is your top 3 anime? But I feel like that's such a, I don't know. The answer there would like, it doesn't change, but I want to know like, what is an anime that you've seen in the last couple years that you feel like really stood out to you? You're like, oh man, this is a really good anime. It's been a while since I've seen something good, you know, that kind of energy. When you see, you're like, yo, this is fire. I'm trying to think if there's one that I've seen more recently that I really liked. Oh, I think what is it? Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk was actually really, really nice. I was a big fan of Cyberpunk when it came out, which is also a Netflix series that was produced by Trigger, right? Studio Trigger produced that one. So there you go. There's one right there. Another Netflix hit. Sheesh. Jujutsu Kaisen was also good. I actually really liked Jujutsu Kaisen. I haven't seen the movie, but I have seen the trailer for season 2. If you guys haven't seen that one, very, very cool trailer. If you guys haven't seen season 1, I highly recommend you check that show out too. It's not, I wouldn't say it's like, wow, like best anime ever. I think there are some cliche tropes to it, but I think it's a very good, well-produced anime. The story is pretty solid, and I think it's one of those stories that I think will eventually get better and more stand out, hopefully over the test of time. We'll see. Oh, Trigun Stampede. Yeah, Netflix keeps gobbling up anime that I was watching elsewhere, so you end up in an awkward situation where seasons 1 and 3 are on Crunchyroll, but then season 4 onwards is a Netflix exclusive. Wait, really? Which one is that? Let me think. Maybe what could they have been gobbling up? Maybe what's that one called? 7 Deadly Sins or something? Possibly. Bleach 1000 Year War. Oh yeah, I haven't even finished that one yet. So many animes that came out. I don't watch anime. What would you recommend for new anime viewers? Honestly, I would recommend some of the classics. It depends. If you want something new, I hear that Attack on Titan is it's a good one to start off with as kind of like a introduction to newer modern anime, but that's kind of like it's not tied to like Japanese culture or anything. It's kind of like its own fictional world. I've heard Attack on Titan is a good one. I've seen it as well. I just don't know if it's like actually one that I would recommend to beginners. Personally, what I would recommend to a lot of people who are first starting out checking out anime and stuff, I would recommend some of the more classic ones like Cowboy Bebop. I think is a great one. If you're into the samurai genre, I think Samurai Champloo is a cool kind of quirky one that also I think has a lot of really great, interesting, redeeming qualities to it. Let me think some other kind of and they're all short too. So Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo are pretty short. Full Metal Alchemist is a little bit on the longer side, but I would say that one is also a great one because it's again it's kind of set in a more Western setting, and the topics of war I think are more universal. So a little bit easier to digest. The audio, so if you want to watch it dubbed, you totally could. I think the dubbing of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is actually one of the few times I will watch an anime dubbed over watching it sub, because they just kill it, man. The voice actors who did Full Metal, whew, 10 out of 10. One of the few times I prefer the dub over the sub. But yeah, I would say those are a few. Those are a few that I would kind of suggest, throw out there. And then chat here's listing off a few as well, so you guys can read what chat's saying. Monster is good. Yeah, Monster is also good, though it's a little bit longer than some of the ones I've recommended. Actually, yeah, it's a little bit longer. It's like 80 episodes, I think. But Monster is also solid. Death Note's a good one too. Death Note's kind of kooky, but I don't know. I like Death Note a lot. Some people don't like it. Some people say it's overhyped. I think Death Note is pretty solid. Yeah, I think not Full Metal. My Hero Academia is kind of the more newer one as well too. That's also kind of popular. I'm picking up a lot of traction, so you can check that one out if you want. But there you go. Those are my personal recommendations. A lot of recommendations, honestly. You can't go wrong. Hopefully that helps. Your first anime was Gurren Lagann. Oh yeah, that one to this day, Gurren Lagann is still firmly hanging on as my top 5. It's on my top 5. It's not. I would say it's number 5 on my top 5. But it has a very nostalgic place in my heart. The characters are really great. The energy of the music, the show, the story, everything about it just makes you want to kind of jump up and get excited. But yeah, Gurren Lagann's up there for sure. The only thing is I don't recommend it. I don't usually recommend it to people as a first timer anime because I do feel like it does play into some of the stereotypes that some people dislike about anime. So, you know, the big booba waifu and all the craziness and stuff, all the flashiness sometimes might be overwhelming for some people. So I try to I'm like, okay, let me give them a little bit something that kind of introduces them to the realistic style of anime, and then kind of work your way into the more other interesting genres of anime, right? Because some people don't watch anime because of that reason. They're like, oh man, I don't want to see these big waifu kind of characters, and but some people like that, obviously. But I don't think it's for everybody, especially if you're not used to seeing anime and its multifaceted parts. Good enough. Good enough for Hassan. Yeah. This is the anime talk that we we have out here on my streams. But anyways, going back here, so now we're gonna go back into the drawing and stuff. But you guys can keep chatting about anime, that's fine with me. So going back in here to talking about the the structure of the character that we have right here. I'm gonna be going in now and actually laying out here some of the components of the actual face and all of that stuff. So we're gonna go in now and let's start kind of drawing out here the start drawing out here now the clothing on top of all this. And if you guys are wondering, right now we're covering how to draw sitting poses for your characters. So a lot of fun little things right here that we're going to be covering. So how to do kind of like that pinching of the clothing and stuff for your characters when they're in this position, right? So, but there you go. We got here Hassan's face, kind of in that very Castlevania-esque style. Some of the line art there, particularly the way that Castlevania draws eyes, is something that I try to is something that I've emulated in my style, mostly because this is kind of the stuff that I draw on for work and stuff. But all right, let's kind of keep it going then. Let's see here. Oh, fairy tale too, yeah. All right, let's go in here and start laying out now some of the clothing. Nice, I like this. Very solid. So I think for the clothing, most of this is actually not going to change too much. I think a lot of the change is going to be, a lot of the clothing changes that you'll see are actually going to be happening primarily once we get into, once we actually get into the pelvis area there and kind of the torso as it starts folding, or not folding, but overlapping the rest of the structure, right? So I'll speed run through here the jacket portion, and then once we actually get into the rest of that portion there, that's kind of where we'll get into that clothing section there. But I think this is going to be a good exercise anyways for kind of warming up into clothing, because I think the thing about clothing is it's really on top of the form, right? So if you want to draw, I would say really good clothing, the best thing to understand about clothing is at the end of the day, clothing is fabric that just sits on top of some form, and usually that form is going to be the human body. So if you can understand what's going on underneath the clothing, then it'll be a lot easier to convey how the clothing pinches, how it folds, how it maybe establishes some of the shadow shapes and all that stuff, right? So here I'm going to be adding in just kind of the rough details of the clothing. I'll try to do my best to make it look reasonable to the design there. So we're going to go in here, boom, 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 lock in all of that stuff. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. I'll go in here. There you go. Oh, also, hold on really quick, guys. I do run ads on my stream every hour. One's gonna be running right about now. So if you do get an ad, thank you again for sticking around for the ad break. They do help keep my streams monetarily viable and allow me to do what I'm doing out here on Twitch. But if you don't want to see any ads, consider subscribing or using a Prime sub if you have it. But either way, thank you for the support, and I hope to see you guys after the ad break. So let's go in here and let's start talking a bit about some of the interesting, unique things about the fabric here, the clothing too. So keep in mind here that the fabric will pinch up a little bit. So there's going to be some thickness, right? So always consider there's that thickness there of the fabric. Yo, thanks for the Prime sub, Lady Glitterfart. Appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see here. At the end of the day, clothing is just fabric. Yes, clothing is just fabric that sits on top of the form, right? So what's more important is fabric really just conforms to whatever it's covering, So if you want to draw good clothes, all you have to do is really understand the stuff on top of it, and then maybe understand a few principles of clothing, of how different types of folds emerge, and that's really about it. That's all I would say really for that. Now again, I'm going to simplify the style here to kind of give it more of like that anime look, because obviously in anime you're not going to have all of these wrinkles and folds showing. So I'll show you guys how I simplify clothing folds using kind of small, medium, large shape design there. But you can kind of already kind of see here what I'm doing is I'm trying to simplify some of the wrinkles and folds that I'm seeing into either clear, visible shape language, or just trying to even omit it altogether, and opting out instead for simpler folds that actually convey the either the foreshortening or the structure itself, right? So here's like a common example of that on the elbow right here, right? So we're kind of adding in a few kind of pinching folds right there. But if you take a look at the reference, there's actually a lot more folds going on, but we're going to be ignoring a lot of those folds. Maybe we'll add a few just for fun, why not? But overall, if you're trying to think about animation, you want to always simplify it out to the most important critical details. Right, it also depends on the material as well. So thicker material, thicker fabrics will also alter how much folding and how much bending will exist. But overall, I think even despite the thickness, you'll still follow relative rules of wrapping around the form, and then also consider gravity as well too. So gravity does play a big role. So now when we get into the sleeve here, I'm going to actually simplify the sleeve here into thirds. So we're going to go one here. We're going to kind of bring that third up across the board there, you know? So there you go. We have here this nice kind of third there. So 2/3 of it is going to be the upper portion of the forearm. And then the other third there is just going to be for the sleeve. And then we're going to kind of go in here, add a little bit of that overlap line like so, bring that down there. And then we have here now this cuff, which we can kind of tuck in here and directly bring back to the elbow. So super nice shape design there. We're just kind of utilize all of that, and there you go. Not bad. Oh, thanks for the D-shrimp. Wow, 2 of you guys are telling me to D-shrimp. Let's see here. I have a classroom with free art materials, books, proportions, anime, vehicles, fabrics, and even fantasy stuff. Oh, that's super cool. Yeah, I mean, if you want to share it, I'm open. If you feel like it's something that's like more of a link and stuff, maybe you can share it. You can DM it to me, and then if I feel like it's like safe to share on the Discord channel, I can repost it and stuff. Yeah, that's super awesome. Yeah, if it's free and not like copyrighted stuff that, you know, because I've had people come to me and be like, oh, hey, I got these resources that I downloaded, these illegal PDFs. Like, if you want to share that to your community, and look, I'm all about making art education more free and accessible, but I don't want to do it at the expense of illegally distributing, you know, other people's work and stuff for the sake of getting better. I'm not a big fan of that. So I would say to DM it to me, yeah, on Discord. That's fine. And then I'll take a look and see how it compares. You'd keep them to yourself. Wait, let's see here. Do I know the box office artists? I don't know them personally, but I know of them. Yes. But also, guys, let me know if you guys are back from the ad break. Are you guys back in here? Let me know in the chat. Nice, you guys are back. Cool. All right, let me go do a little quick intro of myself for those of you guys who are coming in here for the first time. Welcome in. My name is Kaycem. I am a Filipino art streamer here on Twitch. I teach everything from anatomy, gesture, perspective, to all things related to character design. And I also work full-time in the animation industry for the studio that made Castlevania. Right now, I'm actually prepping to work on shows like Castlevania, Legend of Korra, and Invincible. So if you guys are interested in some free art tutorials, you guys like anime or animation, or you like hanging out with my dog who is KO'd over there, snuggled up, do leave a follow out here on Twitch. And if you're watching from YouTube, you know, like and subscribe and all of that cool stuff. But there you go. That's a little intro about me for those of you guys who are curious and coming in, by the way. I mostly work in the animation industry, and these are some of the things that we do actually. We're kind of going in here and piecing in some of these kind of character shapes, right? So we have here the mannequin that's sitting on the form. We drew here some of the more organic shapes on top of that mannequin. And then now we're actually going in here and adding in the details for this one, giving him a little bit more of a nice kind of structure there, right? So you can kind of see how we're all piecing these together, but I'm taking my time with them. And I mean, we could go in and add the details, which is like, we could jump in on details right away. But personally, I feel like if you're first starting out, it's really valuable to understand all the components that go into designing the character, such that if you later want to draw characters from different angles, different perspectives, whatever have you, it becomes way easier to do that because you know how the underlying forms work. How's it going? Billy to comment. Everyone else is coming in here. We got a Puppy Power redemption. All right, here we go. Is there any of your animations on Instagram or YouTube? No, I haven't posted any of those yet. All of the stuff I've done animation wise are still NDA. And so those are only visible to, like other studios and recruiters and all that stuff, unfortunately. Once things open up, then I'll probably start adding them into my portfolio more publicly. And then you guys can see, some of the work that I've done, which I think would be super cool. For some reason he looks like an anime character. Yeah, I mean, that is the style that I work in. But it's interesting because if you take a look here, actually, a lot of what makes the anime style is actually all in proportions and stuff. So the pupil to eye ratio is actually pretty accurate. I'll show you guys really quick. Watch this. What's actually making it more of an anime style is less the size of the pupil and actually more the overall size of the eye. So the eye itself, you can actually see here how the pupil in the actual, if you take a look at the model, the pupil is actually about the same size, if not bigger. But what usually makes something a little bit more realistic is that the size of the overall eye is going to be a little bit different as well. The shape is going to be a little bit less angular, because you can imagine with a more graphic look, there's going to be a bit more lines and stuff that you can incorporate with the eyes. So if you want to go for a more realistic style, I would say to use less sharp angles, which is more common in animation, because again, when you are talking about, when you do talk about anime and animation in general, shape design is very, very important. I would say shape design is more important in animation than in games, because with shape design, when you're looking at a character in a scene, right? Sometimes you're only seeing that character for a few seconds, if not even a second or half a second. And so the silhouette of the character has to be strong. The shapes have to be clear right away, especially if you're only seeing them for a second. And so oftentimes what that does is it leads particular designs of characters to be sometimes a little bit more exaggerated. Sometimes the angles are sharper. So a common trope, a common stereotype in a lot of anime is like, oh, they got the crazy spiky hair, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. There's all these anime characters with gigantic spiky hair, like Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, One Piece, whatever it is. They're usually going to have that type of hairstyle, and a lot of that again has to do with quick readability, especially in very fast scenes, limited frames, and all of that stuff. When you're playing games, it's a little bit different, because with games, they'll usually incorporate 3D models and stuff, and games can sometimes be more idle, right? So you can have like a scene where you're just playing a game and you're kind of just standing there with your character. You're not necessarily moving it around and stuff. So because of that, you don't have to worry as much about shape design and pushing your forms if you don't need to. Not to say that games don't do that, because they definitely could. Oh yeah, here's my brushes. Also, V Ecstasy, hey, welcome back in. Glad to have you on here. I caught a little bit of your stream yesterday, I think. Thanks for the follows, by the way. Double Howdy and Haro0418. Welcome in, guys. Yeah, let's go in here now, and I'm going to kind of add in here the folds. I'm getting rid of the anatomy there and just kind of simplifying out the section right here of the torso, right? And yeah, this is I would say mostly the process here for the upper portion. I'm leveraging a lot of shape design, so there's a lot of folds here, right? But I'm not going to utilize all the folds, because if this was again an animation, you know, we're not really going to have all these crazy details, because you could imagine if this character is getting up and all that stuff. So I'm going to instead just use a few kind of lines to kind of help showcase some of that. But I'm going to keep it relatively simple for the most part. There you go. Heck yeah. Always enjoy supporting my fellow streamers out here. I'm not as active usually during the day, because obviously I have work and stuff, but I do check out people's streams. I try to play people's streams while I'm working. Oh, Rushi, thank you for the follow as well. So many follows today, guys. Welcome in. For those of you who did follow me today, I'd love to know how you guys came across my stream. Was it from my YouTube channel? Was it from recommended? Was it from the front page? Maybe from, let me think, from a raid? We did get a raid earlier today from NBQ. But yeah, let me know how you guys came in here. But all right, now we're getting into, for those of you who are here for the sitting pose, by the way, we're finally getting into the legs portion, which I think is going to be the portion of the pose, which I think will vary the most. This will be the area right here that'll really give off the most kind of change when it comes to drawing a character and seeing how they compare from standing to sitting, right? Okay. Hey, how's it going? Be at easel. Be at ease. Recommended is OP. Yeah, and also again, for those of you who are coming in for the first time, so today we're actually covering how to do sitting poses. And the reason why I think doing sitting poses is great is because, one, I'm sure there's a fair number of you who have struggled with trying to draw characters sitting before, right? Put an F in the chat, guys, if you've ever tried to draw a character sitting and maybe the legs are off, the proportions are off, or just something looks off. Maybe they don't look like they're actually sitting on the thing that they're supposed to be sitting on, right? Put an F in the chat. Let's go ahead and see. I know that you guys I know there's probably a good number of you, because I have struggled with this one a lot. I think it's a very tough one because it covers so many different fundamentals. But it's so valuable because it's going to be a pretty common thing for our characters to be sitting. So we want to make sure we learn how to do that properly and make it nice and easy to do. Thank you for the thank you for the 800 bits. Clap, appreciate that. Sheesh. You know what that means. We're going to do a raffle spin later today, courtesy of Clap and everyone else who's been cheering bits and stuff. I know Prebis, you cheered some bits last stream as well. Thank you so much. Hopefully you're doing well, Clap. The generosity is always appreciated out here. All right, let's go in there. Boom, boom, boom. What you share with Discord, is it in the art resources? Yes. So all the stuff, all the free stuff that you can grab on the Discord channel, that's going to be under the art resources section of my Discord. I'll post there usually about 30 minutes before my stream starts. And that is where you can grab all of the free resources that are available. But again, I want to remind you guys that those are only available while I'm live. So the moment my stream ends, I usually delete them. I don't know, not exactly right after, but a good amount like right after. So just kind of keep that in mind. For those of you who haven't grabbed my resources yet, they are available on the Discord channel. I'll show them to you guys in a quick second. Let me do that actually. Here we go. So again, these are the resources that you can grab for today. This is the worksheet that we're covering, 2 different sitting poses that we got right here. But then I'm also giving you guys other kind of examples of sitting poses that I've drawn. These right here are just different benches and different things that characters can sit on. And then these are characters Mako from Legend of Korra that I drew here in different poses, doing different types of expressions. And then last but not least, I'm giving you guys this sheet right here, which is actually part of my digital art book, which will be releasing sometime later this year. And this one covers, again, some of the anatomy, simple shapes, perspective, foreshortening, and all of that stuff. There you go. Grab all of these guys. And yeah, if you guys are subscribed, by the way, you'll be able to grab not only today's resources, but all of the resources from the previous days of the bootcamp. So we have here over 20 plus worksheets and stuff with all the notes. Like, oh, look at all these crazy notes we got on here for the anatomy and the diagrams. And then you'll also get all these cheat sheets here, as well as all the other cheat sheets that I have. So a lot of dope resources out here for my subscribers. Not only do you get emotes, but you also get basically free art school that kind of comes with your bundled subscription to the Kaycem crew. Thank you for the Prime sub, appreciate that. There was a question earlier that I missed. Let me see. You asked a bit ago, but type so slow. I found you because I typed in art as a category on Twitch, and I want to see if seeing other draw would motivate me to draw. Oh, nice. That's super awesome. Glad to have you on here. Thank you so much for tuning in on my stream today. Okay, but let's go ahead and draw. I'm gonna draw some hands really quick before I jump into drawing out here the legs. Okay, so let me go ahead and do that. We're gonna knock that out the way, and then we'll move on to drawing out here the legs and stuff. Oh shoot, thanks for another Prime sub. Anonymous. Great name. Anonymous. Appreciate that. And I hope you guys enjoy all the resources and stuff. I try my best to make them as valuable as I can. So you know, make them as informative and all that stuff. So I do hope you guys find them valuable. And again, for those of you who maybe aren't able to subscribe at this time, that's completely fine, because again, I do offer free resources on my Discord channel every single time that I stream. All that I ask, guys, is you come out while I'm live, make sure you follow my stream, and yeah, just come out here and put the time in, and I will always have something for you guys. It's one of the main reasons why I stream out here on Twitch, you know, mostly because I want to try to help out. I want to help out my fellow artists in however ways that I can. Out here. You know, I'm going to simplify this. Let's just simplify the hand. But yeah, that's a little bit about me. And again, for those of you coming in, thank you for the support. Appreciate all that. Wow, thanks for all the follows too. Glitter Duchess and the Pika Junior. Pika Junior, welcome in. I think let me see here. Trying to get that right line size that matches up there. I'm just going to change the hand. I think we have to change the hand and the pose because of the size, so let me go ahead and kind of change this one out. Yeah, welcome in. Hopefully you guys are doing well today. It's Tuesday out here. Okay. Okay, and then I will move on to the other hand. For now, we'll keep that there. And then we'll add in some more details afterwards. But let's go ahead here and let's kind of work on the legs a little bit. Oh, let me add this jacket section right here. So we're going to kind of add in some folds. I kind of go this way, boom here, folds here. There you go. And then let's go add in here now the pants, right? So when it comes to drawing pants, I think one of the best things that I think have worked for me is understanding here where the tension points are. You could imagine when a leg is bending right here, you're going to have a lot of the tension points basically happening right here on the knees. So the knees are going to be where we're going to have some tension points there. And then the fabric will actually just flow kind of outwardly from that tension point. And so we're going to leverage some of that tension point there, but we're also going to leverage also the stitching of the fabric as well. So like, for example, right here, you're going to see how the fabric of the clothing kind of helps inform us of where that stitch is going to be. So like right about here, there's going to be some stitching of the fabric here of the pants. So if you kind of incorporate those two things together, the stitching of the fabric as well as the tension points, you can basically start establishing some nice simple clothing folds right here for your characters. So we'll go ahead and actually do that on both sides right here. So like I'll add a little bit of a stitch there. Let me actually lengthen his legs out a bit more because again, some of that fabric is going to start wrapping around the legs now. So we're going to kind of bring that in here. And then we're going to maybe even use some contours there to kind of establish some of that. But you can kind of see how already just by using a few lines and overlaps there, we can get a pretty good solid, a good kind of solid clothing kind of fold already for our character. And it's not too complicated. We could even simplify it further if we wanted to go for a real kind of really much more simplified anime style. But I think this is okay. I'm going to kind of change this one a little bit. And then from here, let's kind of just keep it a nice straight cut, following the form there of the leg. And then we'll wrap this one out here. And that's about it. Clothing, pants. Now, I think we're going to see a little bit more here on, this side of the pants. So let's kind of do that one really quick. And let me actually kind of change up here. I want to maybe bring this arrow in a little bit more this way. And then I'll kind of raise this one a little bit more this way, so it's more of an interesting kind of shape. Wow, thanks for the follows. EcoBiz and Aloyek. Welcome in, guys. Sheesh. Glad to have you guys on here today. So let me actually, I'm going to go draw over this hand and then we'll put the hand back in afterwards. But let's go in and talk a bit about the legs on this side. So for this one right here, I'm going to try to find here that stitch of the pants. So I'm probably like right about here. We're going to kind of just bring it around the leg there. And then we also have some folding going on this way that wraps around the contour of the legs. Now, again, you don't have to actually draw, out every single detail of the lines, especially if you're kind of trying to go for that anime style. You really only need a few of the folds here. So we're going to keep that simple as well and add that in here as we kind of go in. Will there be a dedicated day for shoes? Oh yeah, we've actually covered that one already. That was this one right here. Day 18, feet and shoes, how to draw feet, how to draw shoes, all of that stuff right there. So that was day 18. Oh, Skillshare. Yeah, that actually reminds me, guys. If you guys didn't know, this month I'm actually sponsored by Skillshare. And here's that link, or actually, Allison actually already dropped it in. But I would actually really greatly appreciate it if you guys click that link for Skillshare. Even if you're not interested in joining Skillshare right now, clicking on that link alone actually is a tremendous help for me. But you never know. It actually only takes 3 minutes to get free access to Skillshare. It's only it's only click that link there. You'll give a free month out there. It takes about like 3 minutes to sign up, and then you can kind of see all the other stuff and all the topics that we've covered out there actually utilizing Skillshare. So we've used Skillshare to cover how to draw facial features, how to draw hands. So it's been a pretty awesome resource. But again, even if you are not interested at this time to actually grab the free month of Skillshare, clicking on that link alone actually is a huge help. So please click on it. Greatly appreciate it. And shout out to Skillshare for sponsoring my streams. I always forget. I always forget that I'm sponsored by Skillshare this month. But yes, we're partnered with them right now, and yeah, it's pretty solid, honestly. Skillshare, they got a lot of cool stuff, and you guys have been here. Some of you have been here for some of the demos that I've covered with Skillshare. But yeah, they've got a good plethora of videos, not just like art videos, but even finance videos, social media videos, like whew, lots of great tutorials. Poor Skillshare. No. It's I remembered I'm sponsored by them. All right, but there you go. That's kind of the pants and the folds and stuff for this one. Again, I think the biggest thing is understanding that tension point, which is going to be like right here, and then understanding how the fabric kind of flows here through those tension points to be able to then establish some of the wrinkles and stuff that is going on in the clothing, right? But that's really all it's going to be when it comes to clothing. We'll go more in depth when we actually go in there and talk a little bit more and do some of the details for actually, you know, piecing together the clothing. So that's going to be happening, I think, on day, let me see what day that is. Day 28. So today's day 26. We'll definitely be covering it, just not today. Not today, but we will. It's definitely on the radar. Let me see here. If you see my question, I'd appreciate your answer. What did you do to develop good line habits? Again, I told you guys this earlier, but I think the best thing to use probably is a website called Drawbox. A really great platform actually for basically just going in and learning how to draw good quality, like good line quality and stuff like that. You'll also learn how to draw boxes, which I think is great. But yeah, Drawbox, that's what I would recommend. 100%. Yeah. And it's free. It's free. It's a free website. You know, you don't have to pay anything to use it, which is what I like. I'm all about that free lifestyle out here. Do you guys think Hassan is online right now? I wonder if we can be like, yo, Hassan, take a look at this art piece. But honestly, it's just him. Him sitting. Let me actually move it up a little bit. So I want to make it bigger. Let's see. What line is this? Oh, this is the reference line. Yeah, so we don't need the reference anymore. We've got him basically drawn out here, the character. Oh, hold on. I don't want to lose the color. Where's the color? Okay. Let's go ahead and make this one a little bit bigger, but I want to okay, now I have to shrink this one. Is it this line? Okay, cool. Let me go ahead and move this one down as well. Like so. I'll actually put it like right here, and then let me make this one a little bit bigger with everything else that we've got, so that way we have more room to draw and I can add more details in. Nice. There you go. I doubt it. Yeah, he's a pretty late streamer. You finished a full Drawbox course? I think I did a good amount of it actually. I think this was back in 2020. I actually did a little bit of the Drawbox series. Man, let me think. I don't think I finished everything, but I did a fair amount of it. Oh, here we go. This is the one. I was like, where's the line at? We also covered a hand stream, the other video as well. So we've covered a lot actually on my streams, from hands to all the anatomy to what's it called? To posing and all that stuff. So if you guys are having any difficulty with any of those things, highly recommend checking out those streams. Again, those are free to watch. I think they're still available on my Twitch streams as well too. So check them out if you want to watch them as VODs, or if you want to wait for the videos to come out on YouTube. You can also do that as well too. So oops, what did I just do? What's my YouTube channel? Yeah, you can thanks for dropping the link. Yeah, there's a link right there, guys, in the chat. That's just Kaycem on YouTube. If you type me up, you'll find me right there. Did you do the 500 box challenge? Of course. It was a necessity. Yo, Zedaboffin, thank you so much for the sub. Appreciate that. How have you been? 7 months, huh? Do you have any advice when it comes to drawing the collarbone? I always seem to find myself doing awkward collarbones. My general advice right now is to understand the best thing about the best way to really understand how the collarbone works is to understand what it connects to, right? So a couple things. One, understand the shape of the collarbone, but then two, understand what it actually connects to. And so in terms of the shape, I think of the collarbone usually as kind of like a kind of like a handlebar for a bike, or like a bow, like an archery bow. And then as for the actual things of what it connects to, I would say pay attention to the connection to the acromion process and also the connection to the sternum. And then those things, I think, will hopefully make it better and easier to understand. Now, if you want the more in-depth answer to that, I would actually check out, let me see here. I think this one. So this video is actually already out on YouTube, but how to draw the torso from front side, I actually go over the collarbone as well as a few examples of drawing torsos, some of which are from imagination, some of which are from reference. But day 8, that one's actually live right now on my YouTube channel. So if you want the edited version of that, go check that out. And I go over clavicles and all of that stuff over there. But yeah, oh shoot. Thank you so much for the there's so much going on right now. Hold on. Thank you so much for the raid, Kanda M. How's it going, everyone from Kanda Stream, also known as Conda Stream, which is what I used to call you. The stand I'm using is called the Sketchboard Pro. It's a pretty great great iPad stand. You can take a look at that. But yeah, for those of you coming in from Kanda Stream, how was the stream? I know I was hanging out over there earlier. Welcome in. If you guys don't know who Kanda is, super dope artists out here on Twitch. One of my faves, actually. They make really nice art. They have really good characters. They got a webtoon as well, and a great community. Honestly, you guys can kind of tell already from people coming in there. They're super nice, super great. And they have rabbits, I believe, right? You got rabbits. But yeah, for those of you coming in here from Kanda Stream, let me go and give you guys a quick proper intro out here today. Welcome in, everybody, from Kanda Stream. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. My name is Kaycem, and I am full-time. I'm a Filipino art streamer here on Twitch, and I teach everything from anatomy, gesture, perspective to all things related to character design. But I also work full-time in the animation industry for the studio that made Castlevania. Right now, I'm prepping to actually work on shows like Castlevania, Legend of Korra, and Invincible. So if you guys are interested in some free art education, you like anime or animation, or you like my dog who is KO'd over there, make sure to leave a follow out here on Twitch. And if you're watching from YouTube, like and subscribe the video and all of that cool jazz. But with that, that's the intro that we got right here. Today's stream, we're actually focusing primarily on doing sitting poses. And so I'm showing you guys how to kind of pose your character sitting, all the way down from laying down the perspective, the objects they're sitting on, and some of the nuanced things that also happens when you're actually posing a character as they sit down. Now, I want to remind you guys that sitting poses are actually a very, very valuable thing to learn, because not only does it help you understand how to do the foreshortening, perspective, and all of that stuff, but you can also utilize sitting poses to be able to describe the character's personality. As a fun fact, there are actually studios, like for example, Disney used to test. They might still do this actually, where they actually will interview you and give you a drawing test where they will ask you to draw a character sitting down. So they might say, "Hey, can you draw, I don't know, Moana sitting on a rock, right? And she looks sad." And so they want to see if you understand how to draw the characters, but also know how to draw the perspective and all of that stuff. So I do highly recommend, that you guys practice doing sitting poses, whether if you're watching my stream right now or if you're, just looking to do it later on. I think it's a really, really great exercise. But yeah, there you go. That's a little bit about what we're doing today. By the way, sitting on a rock, I don't know, sitting on the rock, that y'all wildin'. Let's see here. Which drawing tablet am I using? I'm using the iPad right now, and it's sitting inside the Sketchboard Pro, and that's going to be this stand right here. If you guys are interested in that one. But yeah, Puppy Power. Did somebody redeem Puppy Power and I missed it? Maybe. Thanks for the follows today, Gerb, Choaz, Nilith, my bad, Sicilome, Suri0710, Leah Pizza, Pixel Sakura, and everybody else coming in here. So many follows today. What the heck? For those of you who just followed my stream, are you guys coming in here from the raid? Did you guys just find my stream from like recommended? Was it from my YouTube channel and you just got here? Like, I'm so curious to see. We got so many follows. And I'm a little skeptical now because I'm like, are you guys bots? Because now we're getting a lot of follows. Earlier it was like, okay, we got like a few follows. That was kind of nice. But now it's like, wait a minute, yo. Hello. But either way, welcome in. Even if you guys are bots, we still welcome everyone out here. But yeah, so today I'm actually drawing Hassan from I don't know if you guys know who Hassan is. He's a streamer on Twitch, not even political. I don't even know he's a political figure anymore. He's just a internet online figure who talks about politics and amongst other things out here. Oh, interesting. You just found me from the art section, randomly from the front page. I'm from the recommended section. I love art streams in the background while I do some stuff. Oh, super cool. Nice. You're not a bot, I swear. Just forgot to follow the last time I watched your streams. All right, Chowos. All right. Yeah, there you go. Political commentator. That's the proper word. I was trying to remember. I was like, what is he? I was like, what is he called? He's a political commentator. Right. There you go. I think he was very much involved with politics earlier in his career, but more so now, more so a commentator. Not limited to politics, I might add. I've watched a bunch of his videos where he doesn't talk about he doesn't talk about politics. He just talks about random stuff, which is great. Is a girl reference from the Pose Archives? Yes. Yeah. So those are the ones here on the left from way back when. So I'm gonna just kind of speed run here a little bit because I do want to get to the next pose, and we have, dang, time flies. I didn't even realize, my bad guys, I didn't realize we were on this pose for so long. But I did want to get to another pose today with you guys because I think there are different types of sitting poses again. And so I want to make sure that we tackle as many as we can today. So I want to give you guys, let me just kind of speed run on the shoe really quick. And then we'll move on. All right. Yeah, we're just gonna, whatever, they're not looking at the shoes, right? People looking at shoes? Crazy. No way. Ain't nobody got time for that. Plus the reference I have of the shoes are not like the best reference. They're super dark. Okay. Good enough. Good enough for me. Ankle bone thing there. Other ankle section there. Okay, cool. All right. Let's see here. Do we've got everything here that I wanted to add for you guys? Let me show you guys really quick the before and after so you guys can kind of see here where we started off with again, and then from there kind of how we built it up, right? So as you guys can see here, one of the first steps that we worked on really was just establishing first the scenery that we're going to be having our character in, right? So we're going to have here the box as well as the ground plane that the characters are going to be sitting on. So very important to be establishing the scene that the characters are in. Like, don't put the background after you draw the character, especially in a scene like this. Like, maybe if it's just a portrait or the upper body, like, okay, you can probably get away with throwing a background on there, but always have a simple, if you're doing a full body pose or a character sitting or whatever, always establish even a simple structure like this. Like, we could turn this box into a throne. We can turn it into, I don't know, whatever, right? But always have a basic structure. And then from here, we added in here the simplified mannequin, as you guys can see, looking at some of the general shapes there and still considering some of the perspective that we've laid out there. And then on top of that, we added a little bit more organic forms. So we kind of softened it out a little bit. So we took all the mannequin structures that we had, and then from those mannequin structures, actually giving us something that's a little bit more human-like in nature. And then last but not least here, I'm going in now and I'm adding in just the actual details for the character. I forgot to add his other hand back in here, so let me go ahead and do that really quick. But overall, I would say that's going to be the process for drawing sitting poses, whether you're going in and kind of adding in, adding in a character sitting on a chair, or if they're going to be crouching on the ground or whatever have you. So we're going to actually lock in on that same kind of structure there as well for this pose here that we have. So not this one exactly, but we're going to be doing it in a second. Just give me a quick. There you go. I'm just changing the hand really quick. Quick little hand pose there, whatever. Okay. All right, cool. Thanks for hanging out here, Ollie Rex. All right, guys, so let's go ahead now and let's start working on that next pose that we have here. Okay. And yeah, let me know also, guys, if you've been finding this helpful so far. I wasn't originally going to do a sitting pose stream for you guys, but I felt like it was kind of important. Honestly, I felt like it was good to do it mostly because I know that sitting poses are really common to have to work on and do, especially if you're working in the industry. So I felt like it was I felt like we had to do it, but I don't know. Let me know if this was helpful to you guys. If you were like, you know, I'm okay, I didn't really need to see this. Or if you were like, oh, actually, this was kind of cool to see, you know? Because if you guys like these type of things, I might do more of these in the future as well, you know? But if it's like, okay, it's like, yeah, these are easy things, Kaycem, then it's like, okay, cool. Then I won't, I'll pick other things for us that we can work on. Because there are so many things that we could technically work on today, right? So many different types of poses and all that stuff. But anyways, here is the drawing of Hassan we did on the stream today. Not bad, actually. I think with a little bit of color, a little bit of cleanup there, this is actually a pretty solid stuff. And yeah, that's my YouTube channel over there. All right, but let's go in on another fun one. This one's going to be a little bit more challenging, and the reason why is because it's not going to be a conventional you'll see here it's not actually a conventional sitting pose. It's one where the character is kind of bent. They have like their knees bent and stuff, right? So I think this will be a really fun one to kind of tackle today. Let me just really quick, I want to just add a quick silhouette for this one, okay? So let me do, what are we doing here? Why are these on their own layer? Or why are these grouped up? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, I'm going to group all of these. There you go. Let's group that together. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a multiply layer really quick in orange, a nice orange one. And yeah, so for those of you who are curious about my bootcamp, if it's your first time coming in here, so basically what I do on Twitch, guys, is I teach art on Twitch as my kind of my side thing that I do when I'm not doing studio work. And the main reason why is because I want to make art education as accessible and as free as possible out here on the internet for those of you who are willing to take up the challenge yourself. But basically, my bootcamp covers a lot of things focused primarily on character design. That's what I mostly work on for freelance and studio work stuff. But it's going to cover all the things, all the basics of character design, from anatomy to perspective to posing your character, so doing expressions, how to do clothing, how to do hair, all of those things. And I do that all live on my Twitch channel and also uploaded later on my YouTube videos. These are full-length tutorial videos where I give you guys worksheets and assignments, as well as some cheat sheets and references that you guys can use to follow along with if you want to, whether live with me or, you know, at your own leisure. But yeah, that's basically what I do out here on Twitch. I teach. I've been doing it for about a year now on the platform, and I think it's honestly been one of the most rewarding things that I've decided to do. Being able to help out my fellow artists in the community and, you know, help you guys out on your journey. And it also helps me out as well, too, because I get to practice things that maybe I normally wouldn't practice because I'm super, you know, busy with work and stuff. There you go. Nice. That looks good. Let me go ahead and group that. There you go. Duplicate that. Flatten that. And then multiply that, 40% that, and duplicate that again, motion blur that. Okay, that looks good. Nice. Let me see here. Shuji, thank you so much for coming in here. Welcome in, and also thank you for the follows, guys. Ninon, Savcat, Spencyclopedia. Why is that so hard to say? Do you need to rush your drawings when you're working in the studio? You mean like when I'm actually doing studio work stuff? Not necessarily. I think I pace things pretty well when I'm doing studio work, so I try to make sure I balance everything out and stuff. When I'm doing work, but we do have pretty tight deadlines for a lot of things, and so there's not really a lot of room to be procrastinating. But yeah. And hey, welcome back in. All right, so let's go ahead now and let's tackle this reference right here. I think this is a great one, but we're gonna try to speed run this one a little bit more since we've already covered some of the general foundations of sitting poses, right? So what I'm gonna do with you guys here is I'm actually just gonna go over really quick some of the basic perspective that we're gonna be using, and then we'll jump right into actually drawing out here the character. Now I'm gonna just kind of lay out here a grid for her. So let's kind of just do that. I'm gonna say I want the grid to be this way. This is gonna be that ground plane for the character and what she's sitting on right here. I'm gonna say the horizon line, honestly, it could be anywhere, but I'm gonna be putting it right here. So that way we get, actually I'll put it right on the shoulders. I think that'll be a nice kind of depth there. So this is gonna be our grid here that we're gonna be using for drawing out this pose. And then I'm gonna go ahead and maybe shrink her down just a little bit so we have some some more room there to work with this. Okay, so again, I always tell you guys, if you're going to be drawing characters in full body or in a scene, make sure to add even a basic ground plane, because it'll go a lot. It'll do a lot. It'll kind of give you a good place to start when it comes to drawing out everything else. Now for this one, I'm going to just start going in here and doing a little bit of the rough sketch because again, one, I don't have as much time, but also I think you guys have seen my mannequin approach already. So I'm going to go in and just kind of place in here some general forms. Usually I like to use stuff like the cylindrical masses, volume and stuff. But in this case right here, I'm going to be focusing on just laying out the structure here of the pelvis, the rib cage, and then the head. If you can do this, that's pretty much half of the battle, I think, for posing your character. Right, so kind of get this relationship of head, pelvis, and torso, and that'll kind of give you a pretty solid base start. Thank you so much for the follows too. P317 Dragon, COD34 AM, welcome in, or COD34 Ann, welcome in here, and also Alexander Rant. No, that's not me. This is not me. This is Hassan. I wish that was me. Sheesh. So we're gonna go in here. I'm gonna find that center line here like so, and again, this is just a very kind of loose, rough kind of positioning, but I think this will help us get started here with drawing out the pose, which we will later clean up you know, when we actually start drawing these things out. So here, things to pay attention to are going to be that when you're drawing a character and they're kneeling right here, I think some of the hardest things that I've seen artists struggle with is going to be that section right there where the legs kind of meet each other and how that works. So interestingly enough, if you guys take a look at the anatomy of how the legs work, the way that the bones are actually shaped make it so that the legs, when you want to bend them like in this position, they're actually going to kind of tuck back in on each other, and you'll be able to kind of see how that kind of shapes up right there. So here, a lot of this curvature that you're seeing, those are actually the calf muscles on the lower leg there, and that actually helps create some of that curvature. And then the hamstring kind of also helps tuck it back in there. And so you get this kind of nice S shape here for the leg. So a very simplified leg here that we've got. But we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side, like so, right? Just kind of piece that in there. And again, this is kind of a much more sped up version here of how I would be drawing this one out. But I would again encourage you guys to look at some of the mannequin structures that we have here, because for example, this leg right here is actually going a little bit this way in perspective, right? So it's not just going straight at us or straight horizontal. It's actually kind of going this way in perspective. And so you'll see some of the plane there of the knee right here. So you can kind of imagine that knee joint right there, right? So if it helps you to kind of visualize these structures, again, I would encourage you guys to establish some of those shapes as we're kind of knocking them out the way. And thank you for the Prime sub too. Ezumatic. Hasim. Niame, hey, welcome back in. And also thank you for the follow. Baba Nem Etrafin. Sheesh. You're drawing my favorite creators. Hey, let's go. Nice. I picked out these references because I think lean beef patty I think is always a great reference for learning and studying anatomy and cool poses. Hassan was actually just purely coincidence because I was scrolling on IG and I saw that he posted I saw him posting this picture of him sitting down, and I was like, you know what? It's actually not a bad pose that we can break down on stream here. How do we spot the shapes? So again, I would say if you're having a hard time spotting the shapes, what I would recommend again is starting off with those cylindrical shapes first, right? So we talk about that pretty fairly on my stream, but usually it's going to be cylindrical shapes for things like the arms and the legs, more boxy shapes for the torso and the pelvis because of the structure of the anatomy. And so that's kind of what I usually start off with. And then as you kind of get more comfortable with that and you start studying how the human body works, you'll start to find more of the natural gestures that you can then start to incorporate. But I think a lot of it is starting from basic shapes. And then from those basic shapes, really going in and kind of working your way into adding some of those details, right? But yeah, that's a great question. It's a very great question, and maybe we'll talk about some of those things actually. I'm trying to think if there's like there'd be a good time, a good day for me to go over some of the shape design. Also, if I'm going a little fast right now, it's again because I wanted just to kind of show you another demo here. But this one's going to probably be at the pace that I would normally go. A little bit slower because, again, I'm talking to you guys. But this is kind of how I visualize some of these basic forms as I'm trying to simplify some of the... I'm no longer utilizing like the cylinders and stuff. And now I'm just kind of slapping the organic shapes right on top there. Can you draw XQC? Maybe if it makes sense to. So if I can find some references from like content creators and stuff, sure. I don't mind doing that. But it has to make sense with whatever it is we're covering for the day, because, you know, I'm not going to draw XQC going like, because, you know, that's all he does. Like 95% of XQC is literally him going, dude, and then that's it. I can't just be drawing that. I love XQC, by the way. I'm not roasting him, but that's literally all he does. So we'll see. Valkyrie, maybe we'll do Valkyrie. Thank you for the follows to Rinji and Zeta Comics. Yeah, I watch a little too much XQC, and that's all he does. But it's okay. Or he'll just sit kind of funky stuff. Do you still play Wild Rift? Heck yeah, I do. I love Wild Rift. Do you play Wild Rift? I play Wild Rift, but I stream it on my game account, which, by the way, if you guys didn't know, I actually have an alt account on Twitch. That is purely for games and stuff. So if you want to see me play games on Twitch, leave a follow out here in my game account. I do watch Kaycem as well. What's your clan name? Okay, let me tell you guys a story about my guild. Okay, so I made a guild on League of Legends. I paid for the guild and everything, and then because I didn't play the game for about a month, no joke, I lost my guild. They gave my guild to some random person on the team, and that person is like Iron 4. Why didn't they give it to like the other person who's Master or Diamond on my team? They were like, nah, we're gonna randomly give your guild, and they're gonna be the guild leader out here. And I was like, bro. And then that person has been ignoring my DMs. I think they blocked my account because I've been trying to ask them like, hey, can I get my guild back? Dude, they won't give it back to me. So I'm not gonna tell you guys my guild until I get it back, or if I make a new one. Yeah, but I got robbed. Can we get some F's in the chat real quick? I actually got robbed from my guild. I don't know who to blame. Should I be blaming Riot for not giving me my guild, or should I blame this person for ignoring my messages? I don't know. It's an L. It's actually an L. But it's okay. Whatever. He has a gamer channel. Wait, what? Is there a schedule for the gaming account? I usually stream games at night, so yeah. But I do watch Kaycem, and I don't really watch Valkyrie though. But was it Cyrus? Shoot. Oh no. maybe it was Cyrus. Oh shoot. But yeah, nah, it's I will let you guys know though when I get my gaming account, or not when my gaming account, where if I get my guild back. But I also played Valorant for the first time recently, and that was really hard, and I took a lot of L's. But you know what? Surprisingly, really fun game, despite me being incredibly trash at shooter games. It was actually really fun to play. But yeah, so right now you can kind of see here we're building up here the structures of our character, but I'm mostly focusing again for these sitting poses. The first thing that I established was really the relationship there between the torso, hips, and particularly the pelvis, because that's going to be the one that's going to be shifting a bit depending on the way that we have our character position in their sitting pose, right? Yeah, Val is pretty hard. It is pretty hard. Oh, a dance party break. Okay, we'll do one during the ad break, which is actually happening in a few seconds, guys. Also, I don't have a Patreon because I actually moved everything to my Twitch account. So if you subscribe to me on Twitch, you actually get access to all my old Patreon stuff. But here's an ad break. It's gonna be happening in about 20 seconds, guys. If you don't want to see any ads, consider subscribing or using a Prime sub out here on Twitch. But either way, I appreciate the support and I hope to see you guys after the ad break. But yeah, for those of you who are interested in subscribing, basically, not only do you get access to all the emotes and ad-free experience, but you actually get access to all of the courses that I taught out here on Twitch, as well as all the worksheets and resources, including the PDF, not PDF, the PSD files of all the worksheets and all the full drawings that I do with all the layers. So if you guys are interested, again, consider subscribing out here. It actually helps me out tremendously, but it also gives you access to some super dope art education, which I think personally is cheaper than paying for online classes, because that's really my goal out here on Twitch, is to make it so that art education is as free and as accessible as possible to those who are looking to learn. And that's all that I ask, right? Even if you can subscribe and sub, which is completely fine, you can get all the free resources that I have. All that I ask is you come out here and watch me while I'm live, leave a follow, and tell other people too. Tell other people about it, you know, people who are also looking to get better, because I know not everyone's able to pay for those online classes, those $1,000 courses, or pay for art books even, right? I've been there. There have been so many times where I wanted to, you know, pay for an art class, but it's like $500, $600, and it's like, dang, I don't know if I have $500, $600 to just casually drop right here. So yeah, but there you go. That's a little bit about me out here on Twitch, and my content overall is primarily focused really on making accessible, high quality art tutorials and stuff like that. Yeah, so I don't have a Patreon anymore. Everything is all on my Twitch account, and also you guys can check out my YouTube channel for more of the tutorial videos and stuff too. I want to thank you guys, by the way, for those of you who've been supporting me on YouTube. It has been tremendous. The growth over there on YouTube has been pretty insane, and I'm very thankful for that, especially because I know that my tutorial videos are long, okay? So I really appreciate those of you who, despite seeing it being like a 2-hour video, you're like, you know what, I'm gonna click on it and I'm gonna see if it's helpful to me. So shout out to you guys. Let's see here. Why do I abandon Patreon? The main reason why is mostly because, one, Twitch is my main platform. It's what people mostly know me for. And I figured that if people were going to subscribe to me anyways on Twitch, I wanted to make it more valuable for you guys. But also because I'm a lazy person that doesn't like to have to manage multiple platforms. And so I just thought, you know what, let's just have everything happen on Twitch. And that way I get to give you guys some fun emotes and stuff as well too. But that's really it. There's no other particular reason. It's not like I hate Patreon or anything. I just like Twitch a lot. And I know most of you guys come in here from my Twitch streams and find me from Twitch, so I'm like, why? Might as well make it more worth for people who want to subscribe, other than just getting emotes and stuff, you know, which is cool. I think some of you like the emotes that I have. I do work hard to make some fun emotes out here, but yeah. What is the best sandwich? Oh shoot, is PBJ a cop-out answer? I love peanut butter jelly sandwiches. I haven't had one in a very long time, but my memory of PBJs are pretty good. They're like pretty core memories. Those schmuckers, whew, pretty top tier. Evangelion weird rank out of 10. I'll give it a. I think for its time, it was probably pretty meta. Nowadays, I think everyone's trying to rip off of Evangelion, so it's not as weird as it was. But maybe at its time, at its peak, it was probably weird at like a solid 7. It was definitely like a pocket pick anime when it first came out. Like, it was still good, 100%. but like it was definitely one of those like, whoa, like what is this? This is very artsy and the story and stuff. So I'll give it like a solid 7 in terms of the weird scale. But nowadays I feel like everyone's trying to be, you know, everyone's trying to get that Evangelion vibe. So it's not as, I think it's more common now. Like if Evangelion came out now, people are going to be like, yeah, it's whatever. I seen that. Oh, thank you for the 500 bits. Appreciate that. EJ. PBJ solid? Nice. Nice. What brush am I using right now? I'm using my own custom brushes, actually. So I make all my custom brushes, and I know a lot of you guys have been asking me for the new version to come out, the 2023 version. I'm hoping, guys, that we can get that out in April, okay? No guarantees. Don't quote me on this one. Don't clip me on this, but I'm trying my best. I'm just so busy as of recently. So, but if I can do it, it'll probably come out in April. Okay, but let's see here. Is there anything else that I want to add on here before we kind of continue moving forward? I think here we've got overall the pose that we've got, right? So we've got here the proportions and stuff. And again, the sitting pose really is kind of the main thing I wanted to highlight for you guys, is paying attention to how the legs really, am I doing this all in one layer? Sheesh, I'm crazy. Why did I do that? Now I can't show you guys the process underneath. I was going to say that pay attention again to the cylindrical forms that are happening here on the legs, because it is going to be these forms that'll help you understand how these characters are actually sitting down and interacting with the ground plane. I usually, what I like to do is I like to always make some kind of contact here with the ground plane and make sure that works really well, and that's all in perspective. So in this case right here, I'm imagining here this cylindrical form and how it kind of wraps back here, like so, right? I wonder what's a 10. I'd have to think. There's a few, oh man, I don't remember the names, but there's definitely a few pocket animes that are kind of funky. How long does my dog sleep for? Like 18 hours. Thank you for the follow, Barely Weird, and also KB Scribbles. Hey, welcome in. I'm new in Procreate. I'm struggling with the pencil pressure. It doesn't work the way I want to. Do you have any advice? Here is my pencil pressure. Sure, why not? I'll show it to you really quick. This is what I use. Take a good look. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That is what I use there. And yeah, Fooly Cooly. Yeah, Fooly Cooly is definitely on the weirder scale too. There's a lot of like interesting, I think, cult classic animes. I just can't remember. I can't remember some of the names of them right now, but there's definitely a good number. Some that I think are weirder than what's it called, Evangelion. But maybe like again, I feel like a lot of it also is because Evangelion has been kind of popularized to such a high degree now, where I don't think it's even as weird as it maybe first came out to be. If that makes any sense. All right, but I would say this is going to be mostly it for the pose. I'll work on some of the facial features as well, just to kind of give us some more interesting details there. But again, the biggest thing here that I wanted to focus on for you guys to practice is to kind of break down those nice shapes, break down the structure there of the legs and how those kind of interact with the ground plane. And then I think that'll give you a good kind of baseline to really get started with kind of posing your characters. But yeah, let's go work on I would say let's go work on the face now. So we have a nice kind of face structure here. I'll do it on a new layer. Let's see here. Oh, we got a Kaycem redemption. All right, here I'm gonna hit you guys with the Kaycem.
Yo guys, what's up? It's me, Kaycem here. Got a message from Tara. Wanted me to let you guys know that hope everyone has a good day. Oh. There you go.
Oh. Yes, that is your daily message from Kaycem, not Kaycem, from Jason. All right, let's go in here. I think it's a great face. Let me kind of lock that in, and let me actually go like this. I'm gonna treat it as if it was traditional, you know, just kind of go in there, erase a little bit of it, and then maybe we'll kind of find some of the shape there of the face that we want. All right. Oh, also, I realized I haven't yet introduced myself. For those of you guys who are coming in here for the first time, welcome in. My name is Kaycem. I am a Filipino art streamer here on Twitch. I teach everything from anatomy, gesture, perspective, to all things related to character design, and I also work full-time in the animation industry for the studio that made Castlevania. Right now, I'm prepping to work as a character designer on shows like Castlevania, Legend of Korra, Invincible. And so if you guys are interested in some free art education, or you guys just are looking to hang out on a stream to watch on a weekday while you're doing your own thing, do leave a follow out here. I also got a dog who sleeps. He's chilling, not doing much. And yeah, we have a bunch of other things we talk about as well, other than just art tutorials too. Like, we do talk about anime on occasion, and we do talk about, I don't know, random topics that exist right now in the art space. So, you know, whether it's about AI or getting into the industry, whatever have you. You don't know what's going on. Yeah, so today we're covering sitting poses, how to draw your characters in sitting poses. So I'm showing you guys kind of that approach that I have here. Usually, again, it starts off by establishing the ground plane, establishing the plane of which the character is sitting on, and then last but not least, actually establishing the contact points of which the character is interacting with the plane. But yeah, I'm just kind of drawing this one out here. And hey, at least 6 cars, at least 6 characters. Is that like a password thing? Thanks for coming in here. Welcome in. You always want to be careful about adding in too many lines and stuff, because if you add too much lines, like on the cheeks, for example, it might actually make the character look old. So I want to be cautious of that. I want to make sure we're not like making her look super old here. Oh, you know, yesterday I I was trying to log into my work laptop yesterday, and I forgot that I changed my password last week on Friday. And so I was locked out for like a good like 30 minutes because I didn't remember my password, and I forgot to save the captcha, not the captcha, save the password in a password manager. So, but luckily I remembered it, but it took a while. I was like, dude, what the heck? I was struggling. Wow, thanks for all the follows today. How could you tell us about how work is in the industry? Oh, like you want me to tell you about work and stuff? Sure. Working in the industry is actually, I think it varies from studio to studio. But for those of you interested in like the animation industry, it's kind of interesting because there's a lot of multiple departments that are involved with producing an animation. I work mostly in the character / animation side of things, and so there's a few of us who work on either various kind of layout scenes. We either take stuff from storyboards that we try to flesh out more in an animation for like key poses and stuff like that. Sometimes we also work on polishing up stuff that comes from outsourced studios, stuff that maybe needs to get really nice and sharp to get some nice of that Sakuga animation style, all of that stuff. But I think overall, I would say the industry it's pretty nice. I don't know. I like working so far. I like working for studios, and I like kind of developing my skills and learning from other artists. I'm trying to think if there's anything in particular. If you're curious about how to get into the industry, we can talk a little bit about some of that. But if you're just talking about like my general kind of like feel of the industry and how work has been, that's all been good, I would say. I've been having a pretty solid time working so far. Okay. Let's go add in here the glasses, which I think is part of her iconic look. The glasses there. And then I think that's about it. I mean, I think that's about it for her. I might have given her too much cheekbones, so let me kind of change some of that a little bit. Do they pay good? They pay all right. I think depends on. I think a lot of pay depends. Like even in a studio setting, it all really depends and varies on what project you're working on. Is it already an existing project? Is it a new project? Are you working for a big studio or a small studio? Are you working on kind of like are you working on critical parts of the pipeline? So I think it does vary depending on all of that stuff. In terms of what I'm currently doing, I think the pay is all right. That's a good question. Good question to ask. Could artists be paid more in general? Oh yeah, of course. Artists could always get paid more in general. Let's see here. Oh, thanks for the follow too, Mr. Grieve, and also Kaycem Possible, like Kim Possible. Welcome in, Pouncy as well. Glad to have you guys on here today. They do. You guys can't say the same for other countries like Japan, for example. Yeah, exactly. 100%. 100%. It definitely pays a lot more in the US than overseas like Korea or Japan. And a lot of that also is just cost of living is a little bit different as well too. There are things about unions and stuff that are also a little bit different. So yeah. Oh, thanks, Venom. Appreciate the kind words. When you were learning the basics, did you ever hit a wall like, man, what am I doing wrong? Oh yeah, all the time. Heck yeah. I think I still cover and I still practice the basics all the time out here because I always feel like just because you learn the basics once and twice or even 3 times doesn't mean that you've fully learned it or that there's no value in relearning it again. So I always tell people, like, don't feel bad if you're kind of like not, if the fundamentals are not really clicking to you just yet, because I think there's always opportunity to relearn a lot of those things multiple times. So learn it to the best of your ability with the current skill sets that you have, and then go learn something else, develop some other skills and stuff. But all right, what type of education advice would you recommend for someone who is interested in getting into editing or for like YouTube or studios? I would say if you want to get into art, I would highly recommend really just learning a lot of the fundamental stuff like anatomy, perspective, gesture, and those things you can find through plenty. There's so many YouTube videos that you can check out. So I recommend any of those YouTube videos. YouTubers and stuff. You can also check out. Let me think. You You can also check out some courses online, though I feel like those are maybe not where you would want to start if you're still a beginner. I would still recommend just checking out as much free content as you can, because I think most, if not all of the fundamentals as an artist can be learned through free online resources. I really don't think you need to pay for anything to be able to learn the fundamentals. It's a little bit later, maybe some of the more specific skill sets that I think might be best to learn in a classroom setting, but overall, most things I think can be learned for free. You just got to be willing to put the time in and actually hold yourself accountable to learning those things. But yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of content creators that work for you guys. I think one of the things I want to remind you guys too is that what's it called? Remind you guys that different content creators different people have different preferences for how they like to learn. So I'm not going to say which ones are like better than others. I think it all depends on what you are looking for and what you like. Like, for example, there are some people who like the way I teach, and then thus you guys hang out here and you stay here and enjoy the content. But then there are also some people who don't like the way I teach, and they're like, this is okay. I'm not really that interested. And then, they find us another content creator that'll help you learn your stuff. So I always say, find the ones that make the most sense to you, the ones that you feel like are kind of, help you understand certain topics better. And yeah, those are going to be the ones that I think you'll find. I'm not going to name any names, only because I know some of these people also in real life, and I don't want to be like, yeah, this content creator is really good. This one, nah, not really. I'm not trying to get in trouble here. I'm not trying to get canceled. But anyways, guys, this right here is, I would say, going to be it for this pose. I'm not going to do again too much for it, but I wanted to show you guys kind of the process that I focus on when I'm doing these sitting poses. I want to remind you guys again that you can grab today's worksheet and the resources on my Discord channel. That's going to be this one right here. So this one's going to be the worksheet right here. And then this one right here is going to be some example poses that I've done for you guys in the past, just showing you guys how you can do more character sitting, as well as how you can kind of model them to do different types of expressions. And then last but not least over here, this is going to be a cheat sheet page from my digital art book, which I'll be releasing sometime later this year, probably in June or July. All right. So those are free to grab. And for those of you watching, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's tutorial and all that cool stuff. It's kind of like playing a video game. Why would you some people do pay to just grab whatever gear and stuff, but